Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
He's the popular Peter King. Who has the power to say to Dan Snyder, you must stop?
They don't. Dan Snyder's got to go, period. There's no way he should be an NFL owner.
But how does that happen, though, Peter?
It's not going to happen. I'm saying, in my opinion, Dan Snyder's got to go. He has to go. That wasn't 2 or 3 instances of sexual harassment. That was 17.
Bringing you everything happening in the world of sports daily.
Dan Patrick.
In his release, the only word in that release that was used more than the word "the" was Redskins.
Yeah.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
It's time for him to go. He's got to go.
This is Dan Patrick.
It's a Tuesday. It's hour 1. Dan and the Danettes. Dan Patrick Show. Glad to have you on board. Stay a while. You're watching, you're listening, tweeting, emailing, all the above. Say good morning to Chat Row. Those watching on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. It's free all 3 hours. We could never charge you for a product like this, could we? Also, those listening on our 362 radio affiliates around the country. Got a potpourri of guests, a hodgepodge. We've got the number 1 golfer in the world. John Rahm's going to join us a little bit later on. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach. He's going to join us. And Dominique Foxworth of ESPN, former NFL player. Really one of the bright voices on TV now, dealing with the NFL. So Dominic will join us coming up in about 20 minutes from now. You never want to jump to conclusions, certainly when it comes to the coronavirus, because storylines are changing every day, every hour. And that's why I'm hesitant to bring this up, but I think it's important to share good news. I think sports had a great day yesterday, a 24-hour period where we got good news. The NBA had 0 positives among the 346 players tested since July 13th. The bubble appears to be working for now. A month ago, we didn't know which was going to be a stronger strategy, playing at home or putting all the players in one place. So far, the NBA and NHL seem to be in a better position than baseball and the NFL. Now, that could always change. Could change this afternoon. Right now, everyone in Orlando appears to be following the rules and actually having some fun with this. Now, there's no guarantees that the bubble restrictions aren't going to eventually wear thin on these guys. But as numbers remain high throughout the nation, 0 positive test has to make the NBA very happy and provide even more momentum, committing to a strategy that hopefully will carry the league through a successful postseason. The NFL, no more preseason games. Boy, that didn't take long. Yesterday morning at this time, I told you about a source who said, hey, they're going to be cutting in half. They're going to have 1 preseason game in the NFL. And then all of a sudden, the proposal is 0 preseason games. The NFL, the players, the coaches need at least 1 preseason game. Might not be possible, but if you think about new coaches, you got high draft picks, you got quarterbacks trying to get acclimated with game situations. And even a new coach, Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, just to have that communication from upstairs down to the field in real time. And Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's first pass could be his first pass in the NFL. And then you have players who might not be able to make the roster without preseason because they don't get a chance to really showcase their talents. You're going to have inter-squad scrimmages, but I don't know how much football we're really going to see. And by that, I mean, are you going to have inter-squad games? Could I have the Texans and Cowboys play one another? Could you have maybe proximity scrimmages? You know, could Tampa play against the Dolphins or Jacksonville play? I don't know what's possible. And I think the NFL is trying to figure out how can we get some football here? How do we get something that at least looks like preseason football? I said from the outset, I didn't see preseason happening. And I think we're right there now that we're not going to have preseason football. But those are some things we can talk to Dominique Foxworth about, the importance of preseason, particularly if you're a draft pick taken after the 5th or 6th round trying to make the team. It's going to be tougher to be able to do that because you won't get the same opportunity. And my rookie coach or my rookie quarterback, boy, I certainly want him to have some reps in there. The veterans say, it's okay to go out there for a series or two, but they don't really need it till maybe that final preseason game when it starts to get serious. I worry about what's going to happen those first couple of weeks of the regular season. If we start on time, what happens, and maybe some of these players putting themselves at risk by then going out there and going full speed because you can't simulate a regular season game. 877-3DP-SHOW, email address dp@danpatrick.com. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I don't even know when I mentioned it because, as I've said to the Danettes, I don't know what date it is. I know what day it is, but I go, what's the date today? I think it's the 21st. Let's go with it. But I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I have a source who's an NFL scout who said, don't be surprised if college football is delayed or moved to the spring. You're going to have some marquee players who aren't going to play because they don't want to run the risk of being injured and getting ready for the NFL draft. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.com does a great job on reporting on the NFL. And he says you can expect prospects, maybe not playing college football. And he said this over the weekend. He said one executive even took it a step further, saying any player who has a chance to be drafted in the first 7 rounds of the draft will consider sitting out because why risk further injury? I was told it was if you were a top draft pick, like 1 through 3 rounds, that you would sit out, and then maybe you would have some players who would play in the Senior Bowl. But then the combine becomes even more important of when can you schedule the combine if there's spring football. There's a lot of things still in flux here. But that was one that I was told a couple of weeks ago. And you're not quite sure when we're playing college football and how much of the college football season we'll be able to play. And I'm looking at Notre Dame because we have Brian Kelly on. With the Pac-12 not playing non-conference games this season, this will be the first college football season that USC and Notre Dame have not played against one another since World War II. And it's really important for Notre Dame that the ACC incorporates Notre Dame into its schedule because Notre Dame is going to have 9 games. 6 of its 9 games, regular season games, are against ACC opponents. And Brian Kelly has feasted on the ACC. 1/3 of his victories at Notre Dame, so that's 31 out of 92, have been against ACC opposition. But we'll talk to Brian. He'll join us coming up. Everybody reacted the same way when back in March, Kirk Herbstreit said there's not going to be a college football season. Brian Kelly called Herbstreit out saying, you're not a scientist. Now, he said that he was worried there wasn't going to be a season. And, Brian has since walked that back. We all have, because when Kirk said that, I said, I don't know how you can say that, even if you have experts saying there's not going to be a college football season, because this is fluid. It moves, and it moves rapidly. It moves slowly. Brian Kelly says he almost guaranteed there was going to be a college football season, a recent appearance in the media a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, almost guaranteeing that. But so we'll talk to Brian about that and how you prepare. Wasn't Notre Dame supposed to play Alabama?
That was a rumor after Alabama canceled USC, but I don't think they ever got it happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. By the way, that's McLevin, who handles our poll question. He used to be our stats guy, but Ethan took over that role. Fritzy is in the back row, and Paulie and Seaton in the front row. And McLevin, you got a poll question for me today.
Yeah, so we were working over on this side of the glass on a poll question. Which quarterback will be hurt the most by not having a preseason?
Okay.
I'll give you the choices here. Cam Newton, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. I'll go, and all 3 rookies, Justin Herbert in L.A. and Tua Tagovailoa in Miami.
I guess immediately I would think Cam Newton, and then I would go Tua, because I'm not sure where Tua is health-wise. And, he's working out, but you're not working out in game-like situations there and really testing that injury. and Cam going into a new system, new team. Brady's been working out. Burrow is going to be a rookie easing into it, and I know expectation levels will be high, but I don't expect a lot out of Burrow or Herbert to begin with. Certainly not Justin Herbert. But Burrow will ease into it. His first pass is going to be a swing pass to Joe Mixon. I mean, write it down. Going to be a little 5-yard dump to Joe Mixon. But Tua, because of the injury, Cam because of the injuries, and then joining a new team, those would be the two guys. I don't worry about Brady because Bruce Arians is smart enough to say, Tom, you do it how you want to do it, and Tom's going to look over his offense and go, oh my gosh, I got guys wide open. This is a little bit easier than the last few years in New England. Burrow's going to struggle no matter what, but I would say Cam Newton and Tua. Yeah, Paul.
I was thinking Justin Herbert might be hurt by this the most because I think a lot of people expect him to start the season on the bench. It could be the whole season if he doesn't do the preseason. And remember what Daniel Jones did last year for the Giants? He was 29 of 34 over the month of August with 416 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that basically, it pushed the whole narrative. Eli Manning was benched quick.
I don't think Justin Herbert's going to play much this year because you got Tyrod Taylor there, and that's they have him there as a bridge quarterback there. Tua, is he going to be able to challenge Ryan Fitzpatrick? I have expected Ryan Fitzpatrick to start all along. Maybe Tua, if he does get to camp, is able to showcase his talents and be healthy enough to be able to start, plus understanding the offense, going in and understanding the intricacies there. Fitzpatrick is a veteran. He's been there a while. Cam is going to be hurt a little bit, but then Jarrett Stidham's going to be hurting. He'll be hurt a little bit too. Cam at least has experience. Stidham doesn't. Cam has the question marks with his health and learning that system where Stidham was able to at least learn with Tom Brady there. And then Joe Burrow walks in as the number 1 overall pick, and people are going to expect big things out of him. But I would caution them, certainly because of this pandemic, even if there wasn't the pandemic, just going into a situation like that. Yes, McLovin.
You're saying Brian Hoyer has a chance to win the job in New England?
No, I do not.
Did Curran say don't completely discount that? Just based on what you described, Hoyer's run that offense a million times.
Yeah, but does he run it well?
He's had winning seasons.
They can't do that to me. They can't. After all of the publicity I've given the Patriots with Cam Newton, and I'm excited and they're interesting, they can't do that to me.
But Stidham's okay.
Stidham's okay. I'm curious, but Cam makes the Patriots must-see TV. Because even if Brady was there, they're not must-see TV. They're not exciting. They're like the Spurs. They're boringly great. Yeah, see.
Even Stidham would be more interesting
than Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, all right, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
I know who Brian Hoyer is. I don't know what you have with Jarrett Stidham. And I guess just the curiosity of, has Belichick found another pupil? That's the curiosity there. And then how does Cam incorporate Cam and his personality, the chip on his shoulder, into New England? That'll be fascinating as well. Yeah, Paul.
Brian Hoyer is going to lose the game for you in a competitive fashion. Like you're going to be in the game. It's going to be competitive.
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick does that too.
Oh, yeah.
He giveth, he taketh away.
He accidentally wins a couple and takes you out of draft position. Though.
Well, he did that early. He usually does that early in the season where he puts up these big numbers and then we go, man, MVP candidate there. And then that's it. Then all of a sudden we have him on. We talk about his beard, going to Harvard, and then that's the last time we talk to him. Yes, McLovin.
No, he'll beat the Saints 48-41, and then he'll surprise the Patriots at Week 14 every year, like for some team.
Oh, when I had the Saints going to the Super Bowl that opening week, and I'm watching the score, and I go, you got to be kidding. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to end my Super Bowl hopes Week 1. And they lost, they beat the Saints. And I went, oh, God, you can't lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the time. All right, what other poll questions do we have?
Well, yeah, that was the other poll I want to say. Who wins the Patriots job? Do you think Cam can win it on camp alone? I mean, they're going to see a lot of them. They're going to see him for a month. I And my second question is, does it matter who starts? Because all these teams are going to have coronavirus tests, soft tissue injuries. The backups are all playing, right, this year?
It feels like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Stidham starts. You know, I know we want Cam Newton to start, but that's not the way it works. Certainly not with Belichick. You know, Belichick is not going to open up the scrapbook and say, boy, it'd be great to put Cam out there. Boy, he'd be great for attendance. Belichick just, hey, I want to win. Who gives me the best chance of winning? Who's not going to make mistakes? And, you know, what kind of offense are you running? Are you more of a run-first team? Now, I won't be surprised at all if Stidham starts instead of Cam. I don't expect much out of Justin Herbert. Tua, I'd be surprised if he starts, just because I would want to have a conservative approach there if I'm the Miami Dolphins. Unless you feel like we can win this division this year, I want to ease Tua into this because you have him for 5 years. And Ryan Fitzpatrick will be a great placeholder for him and a great bridge quarterback to help him become successful. And I would take my time with that. The Bengals, they're trotting out Joe Burrow. Yeah, McLevin.
Can I do a one take against the grain with the music?
Oh, okay. With music.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can find it. It's been
I sprung it on the
It's
guy.
been such a long time. Holy
Yeah.
smoke, Arena.
Yeah.
By the way, this program is brought to you by buyraycon.com, the wireless earbuds, the way to go. Get 15% off your Raycon order at buyraycon.com/Patrick. It's buyraycon.com/Patrick.
I have a surprise rookie starter. I think Justin Herbert gets out there, and he never ran in college, but he ran a 4.69 40. He's going to be Josh Allen. Never ran in college. He's going to run every play. That's what they do in the NFL. Just go out there and run for 100 yards, and he can do that. And I think he can play. He'll never throw. He'll never throw the ball in the Chargers, but they have a great defense. Either him or Taylor just run the ball. But I think you know him.
Well, he did run the ball in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
he
he
ran
looked
for
great.
3 touchdowns.
He looked amazing, right? So why does he do that in the NFL? That's what they do with the rookie quarterbacks. They just run them into the ground.
It's one thing to do it in college. It's another thing to be able to do it in the pros. Very few are able to do that. And if they do it, how long can they do it?
They're all doing it now. Trubisky did it. Josh Allen did it. Every rookie quarterback who's fast, Burrow can run. I think all these guys are runners now. Isn't that the new QB?
I don't know if you're a runner. I think you're just athletic.
But I think Herbert's pretty athletic.
Well, but that doesn't mean I want Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow to run.
It's the NFL. You run your quarterback now. They don't care. It's the rookie salary cap. They just burn these guys into the ground.
Well, I would want to take a little bit more cautious approach there. I want my quarterback to be more like Russell Wilson from the standpoint of run when you need to run, not because I have to run. I want it to be smart run plays, or they're designed to be a pass. An anomaly. Even Kyler Murray, as great as he is, I want him to self-preservation. That's really what I want with my quarterback. Take the chance when it's there, but be smart. Remember RG3? One of the fastest players we've ever seen in the NFL. And he's out there running around like you do in the backyard with your brothers. And then he got popped a couple of times there. You got to be smart when you do it.
But you always said Kyler Murray can avoid big hits because he's got that baseball get low thing.
Well, there's a small target, but also it's being smart back there. You know, ego gets in the way. And then you take on these defensive players, and all of a sudden you realize, man, does that hurt. And RG3 was never the same. He took a couple of hits. Yeah, Paul.
And Justin Herbert is a good runner. He's a good downfield runner. You saw that, but he's also a huge target. Yeah. Like Andrew Luck was a huge target. When he ran, he used to bowl some people over. Remember first 3 years, Andrew Luck would drop some people.
Yeah, I don't need that. And Cam would do that. Remember when Cam played against the Broncos and they beat him up?
So what about Josh Allen and the hot Super Bowl pick, Buffalo Bills? Everyone's all about Josh Allen. That dude exposes himself 50 times a game.
In more ways than one.
Well, not that way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, I'm talking about the way he throws the footballs, decisions that he makes. You know, he's I get a little nervous with him. Got a lot of talent, but he's got to understand strengths and weaknesses there. Yes,
Wasn't he the dude that the coach was like, you know what we have to do? We send him out there once early in the game to get popped, and then he kind of gets going. You remember that?
Yeah. Or it might have been that he said, hey, it feels great to get hit.
Oh, maybe it was him that said it.
He might have. He might have. I don't want that rationale with my quarterbacks. If you look at these quarterbacks who have survived, they've survived because they haven't put themselves at risk. Yeah, Paul.
Peyton Manning should do a training tape where you see like a defensive lineman's coming at you and you just kind of lay down nicely, or
fetal position.
Or you throw a pick and the guy's going to get ready to block you and just say, I'm not going to tackle this guy. That's not my job.
But Brady has done that. Brady will run a quarterback sneak. That's it. And it's not like he's going up and over like Cam does. He goes down low for that quarterback sneak. Look at how Breeze has lasted. Rodgers has lasted. Roethlisberger lasted. Phillip Rivers is still playing football. There's a reason. They don't put themselves at risk.
But all the new guys, Carson Wentz.
I know.
They all run.
I know. How many of these guys will play more than 12 years in the NFL?
Well, how come you won't say that with Lamar Jackson, though? You think I think he's
I can't see him playing 12 years.
Unless he changes and runs less, yeah.
Give me Patrick Mahomes, his approach to the game. Obviously, you want him as your quarterback, but his approach to the game is, I'll take it when it's there. Like, he had a run in the Super Bowl, and I went, oh, my God, what are you doing? I thought they were going to take his head off. Now, it was the Super Bowl, and you go, okay, you're going for an extra yard or a touchdown. But for the most part, and he's athletic, he can run, had a great run in the postseason. But I want you to be smart. Not, hey, here's the new wave. My quarterback runs. We want him to run for 800, 900, 1,000 yards. That's not what I want. Unless you say, the hell with longevity, we're trying to win now. And as long as Lamar Jackson knows that, then okay. That's the approach that John Harbaugh is going to take in Baltimore. Yeah, McLovin.
What about Joe Burrow? He's not going to have any open receivers in Cincinnati. He's going to have to run.
I know. Well, he's going to have A.J. Green and Joe Mixon, right?
Well, A.J. Green if he's healthy.
I know.
He's always if he's healthy.
Yes. That's his name, A.J. Green, if he's healthy. We're going to take a break. Dominique Foxworth from the Mothership will join us, and we'll talk to him about the NFL with possibly no preseason games. How do you get ready for a season like this? Brian Kelly from Notre Dame and the number one golfer in the world, Jon Rahm, a little bit later on as well. Your phone call's always welcome. Take a break. Back after this on the Dan Patrick Show. Now, the last time we saw each other, I was handing out the Super Bowl trophy.
I was trying to get there.
You were trying to get on stage.
Yeah, I was trying to get where you were.
You were trying to blow up my spot.
I was trying to blow up your spot. That was definitely one of my best worst moments. That's what I call it.
Because I would have invited you up had I known you were there.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. I was a little intoxicated. The alcohol stuff works. If you drink enough of it, it's going to get up on you.
Okay, but take us through watching the game then.
Watching the game. All right, so for those people listening, if you don't know, I am a diehard Philadelphia fan. I'm everything Philadelphia. I'm from Philly. I bleed Philly. So the Super Bowl was a big deal. I got a suite. I took my whole team to the Super Bowl. We watched the game. After winning the Super Bowl, I said, no, we got to go down on the field. It can't end like this. I got to go and experience this with my team. So I have no passes, no laminates, nothing. I get down to the field off of pure fame and wit. Everybody I went to as I'm going down, they're like, "Sir, do you have passes?" And I'm like, "No, I'm Kevin Hart." And they're like, they just kept letting me by. And I was like, "Oh, I guess it's working." And they was like, "Who you with?" And I was like, "All these people right here. All the black people behind me are with me." We get down to the field. We're on the field. I have no idea how we got there. We're on the field. Confetti's coming down. I'm with the team. I'm in like a huddle. We're like doing dances. And one of the guys go, "Oh, yo, the trophy. They bringing out the trophy." And I was like, I want to be a part of that. and I was like, "I'm going to the stage." I told everybody, "Watch my wife. I'll be back. Y'all stay with my wife." And he was like, "Kev, where you going?" I said, "To the stage. I'm going up there so I can be with the trophy. The city wants to see me do this." So I go to get up there, and I'm just gone. Like I'm levels of beyond drunk. I've just been drinking all day, and I just remember the security guard putting a hand on my chest, and he's like, "No, not gonna happen. No." And I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "I'm Kevin Hart." He's like, "I know who you are." He said, "You're not getting on this stage, man." I'm like, "What?" Now keep in mind, all I wanted was a trophy. All this time, the trophy was right behind me. All I had to do was turn around, and the trophy's right there. I didn't even realize that the trophy was right. It was right over my shoulder. The whole time that I was arguing, I could have turned around, I could have got the picture with the trophy.
But they bring the trophy up. They have this big, long line.
Yeah.
And it's a gauntlet where all the players get to touch it.
Yeah.
So they bring it right by you.
Right by me.
And you're trying to get up to get on the podium to see the trophy.
In my mind, it's up there.
Yeah,
the trophy's up there. Yeah, the trophy up there. I'm trying to get to the trophy. I kept telling the city want to see this. That's what I kept telling them. Thank God they didn't let me up there, though. I would have did something stupid. I probably would have fell off the stage. And then I went from there, and they were live. They were live doing like a post-game show, and Michael Irvin and I forgot who else was up there. They invited me. They was like, "Oh, Kevin Hart, hey, come up here, Kev." And I got on there, and they was like, "How you feel, man?" And I start cussing. I don't know what happened. And I was like, "Oops, y'all live, ain't y'all?" And they say, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, I'm out. I'm embarrassing myself." And I just jumped off that stage. And then that's when my wife told me that what I'm doing is ridiculous.
But you're being a true fan in the moment.
Philadelphia, what do you expect me to do? We haven't won a Super Bowl in a year.
I mean, you're not used to winning.
No. Do you know that people were eating horse manure in the city of Philadelphia? You think that my antics were bad? People were eating horse manure in Philadelphia. Yes, that's what they do when people take horse manure and they eat it. You didn't see the clips of that? Go Google it.
No, I don't need to.
Well,
I'll take your word for it.
No, you should see this, Dan. This will blow your mind. Real life, people were like, yeah, you hear people on the side like, do it for the team. And this guy just picks it up, has a nice little bite of horse manure.
We'll settle on a poll question here. Or did we settle on a poll question, McLovin?
Yeah, we're going to go with the QB one. Which QB is hurt most by not having a preseason? Tom Brady, Cam Newton, or the three rookies, Tua, Justin Herbert, or Joe Burrow?
Well, maybe I'll start there with Dominique Foxworth, the ESPN writer, commentator for The Undefeated, former NFL quarterback, Harvard Business School grad. What a show-off. He joins us now. Dominic, which quarterback you think is going to be hurt the most if there's no preseason games?
I think I got to go with Burrow. I feel like that's the easy choice. But for the other rookie quarterbacks, there's really no expectation that they're going to start. Burrow is almost absolutely going to start day one and has no experience. His first career pass outside of practice is going to be a live NFL game. And no matter what we say about not having high expectations for that team, there's always high expectations for a rookie quarterback, and I think you can be ruined by that first season if it doesn't go well. And those other guys have some experience that I think they can fall back on.
Would you rather face Cam Newton or Jared Stidham?
Oh, that's a real question.
Yeah, I mean, right now, going into this season, given that Stidham has been there, Cam we don't know. Is it even close?
Nah, I mean, we don't know about Cam's physical health, but I don't think it's even close. What we've seen from Stidham on the field doesn't come close in the NFL or even in college, frankly. What we've seen from Stidham doesn't come close to the ceiling that Cam Newton has. So Stidham isn't a stiff, but he's certainly not the athlete that Cam Newton is. So even without knowing the system all that well, I'd be more concerned. Defensive players hate athletic quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks, dual threat guys like that. There is no defense for that. They compromise you in every way. If you're in man, you turn your back on them, they get out. If you're in zone, they buy time. Man turns into zone. They throw deep passes. And then when you're Cam Newton and you're built like a defensive end, tackling him does not seem fun. Fortunately, I got it out of the league before that was a possibility for me.
But I wonder about this. They were trying to usher in a new wave of quarterback here.
Right.
And like Lamar Jackson is the anomaly to me. Like, it's hard to find somebody who rushes for 1,200 yards and throws for over 30 touchdowns here.
Right.
Josh Allen runs, but I don't think he's capable of putting up those kind of numbers here. So Mahomes is capable of running, but he's known for his arm. So are we seeing a different type of quarterback, or is it just this is Lamar Jackson and maybe a little bit of Kyler Murray?
No, I think we're absolutely seeing a different type of quarterback. It's impossible to name a team that has a young quarterback that is not athletic and doesn't run some plays. And the best quarterback we have is Patrick Mahomes, and even he runs quite a bit. You think of some of the biggest plays in the playoffs last year, that kind of lazy spin he did into the end zone against the Titans. That was a running play. And I think you mentioned earlier in the Super Bowl, he put himself at risk and he fumbled down in the red zone because he took a big hit. Like, everybody is going to run. That's the way that it's going to be. Maybe it shortens their careers, but that dynamic is something that's so important to put stress on the defense, because obviously it makes it easier for your running back to run the ball if people have to account for you. It makes it easier in the passing game if you can scramble and make things happen. We give a lot of credit to Andy Reid, but if you go through those playoffs, which I happened to do a couple of days, watch all the plays from the Chiefs playoffs again, so many of the pivotal plays were after Patrick Mahomes bought time with his athleticism. Some of them he actually ran, but so many of the big plays, he bought time with his athleticism and released the ball deep downfield.
And to back up, what you're talking about, there have been 48 quarterback seasons with at least 500 rushing yards in NFL history. Exactly half have happened since 2010.
Yeah, the game has changed, but the athletic quarterbacks have always been there. I think as they get older, they're going to have to develop something else because their athleticism will leave and also their bodies will break down. But you think back to, I wrote a piece with Mina Kimes before the draft where I said Lamar Jackson was the best. We said he was the best quarterback in the draft, and in the right situation, he would be great. But in that process, I went back and looked at a bunch of other quarterbacks, and John Elway was so athletic. And I rewatched the drive against the Browns, that important play. Every single play was something about his athleticism, was something about him buying time. All the passing plays were him scrambling, rolling out, maybe taking it for a short run, and also maybe connecting with someone down the field. All the pivotal plays in that drive. So it's not something that's new, but John obviously developed into a different type of a passer, and I don't think that's going to change. I think guys are running more now, but if you're going to have a long career, you're going to have to develop something else. But I'm completely fine. Honestly, I heard you in the first segment saying maybe you have an 8 or 7 year career. I'm fine. If you are here for a good time, not a long time, that is okay with me. I would rather have this version of Lamar Jackson than some watered down version of Lamar Jackson for 15 years.
We're talking to Dominique Foxworth. He is a writer and commentator for The Undefeated, which is ESPN's content initiative exploring the intersections of sports, race, and
got to have it. So we'll figure out how players figure out things going forward. How important is it? Yeah, I mean, I think that this season is going to be a unique one, and it's going to benefit teams that have experience and teams that are efficient. So I think in the past, when you have a lot more time, maybe there are times where you can make the best of a longer offseason and you'll have maybe just 50% of your practices are productive. Now, if that happens to a team now, they'll have a lot less time. So the teams that are able to be productive in that time, and the teams that bring in players. And sadly, this goes to what the Patriots have always done. They've always prioritized experienced, smart guys over having kind of stars and rookies around them. That's been kind of the Patriots' motto of roster management, is they'll get some mid-level guys that don't cost a ton of money, but would normally be out of the league because they aren't big enough to warrant a big contract, but they aren't young enough to get the small contract. So teams who have those type of players, I think, will benefit, and teams who figure out ways to practice efficiently and get the best out of this time will benefit. And guys who have rookie head coaches, they're in trouble. Like that seems impossible.
Yeah, I was wondering about Stefanski in Cleveland, that you're walking into a situation that feels real. It's tenuous here. It just feels like there's tension there. There's expectations there. But, man, it could either be great or it could go south quickly there. And you don't really get an off-season, a preseason to get ready for just going into your first head coaching job.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that must be like. And that team is a team that I think mentally and emotionally is on the brink. Like, there are some teams that could go through a losing streak and just have some installed confidence and maturity that this team hasn't developed yet. So it's going to be really hard for them, considering that they don't have a normal offseason, seeing how things go if they have a rough start in that division where they have at least two really tough defenses to go up against in the Ravens and the Steelers.
Yeah, you start to wonder about this, even a simulated game. Mm-hmm. Like, you've been in simulated games.
Right.
It's not even a preseason game. Like, how do you prepare without having a game to really prepare for?
Well, I mean, I think you can go back to college. That's what we did in college. We would start our seasons. First real game was a real game. There was no preseason games in college. So you can try to do similar things to that, but you also don't want to hit too much in NFL practices because you don't want to get your own players hurt. It's different in college because the rosters are so deep and there's so many players that, frankly, plan on playing, and the coaches don't necessarily care. So it's a little bit easier to go kind of full speed. But I do think that many of these players are comfortable with it. It may not be pretty to all of us, but no one's going to be at a disadvantage necessarily. So I think that's the thing that I'd be more concerned about. If anything, like if I were a player right now or even a coach right now, I'd be looking at this as an opportunity. Like, everyone's going to be at a disadvantage. No one knows quite how to prepare for this. If I can figure out how to prepare for this, this is my chance of getting an edge. And maybe that's just like whatever mumbo jumbo I would tell myself to get motivated. But that's the way I would think about this, is like, look, it's not like I'm at a disadvantage. I'm not the only person who's not getting these opportunities. Everyone's not getting them. How can I make the best of it?
And Dominic was the president of the NFL Players Association back in 2012. How confident would you be going into this season? What role would you play if you were the president of the NFL Players Association right now, telling everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the most important thing is the safety. And I think the players and J.C. Treader is the president at this moment. I think they've been clear about the positions that they were taking is to prioritize the health of their players. And I think it was made obvious by them advocating for no preseason games. Because if you think about it, the Stars have a disproportionate amount of power in this, and they tend not to play in preseason games. And that preseason revenue goes directly into the cap. So those guys, their financial incentive would be to have preseason, because that's money in their pocket or money in the cap that could go into their pocket without actually going out there to play. But they stood up in unison and said, no, we're not going to do that. And I know that it's not perfect for all of the undrafted guys who hope to make teams, but I do think that we all would agree that less contact, less travel, less of any of that stuff it increases the probability that we have a season and finish the season.
You were born in England, weren't you?
Yeah, military base. So, I mean, I could still run for president if I want to one day.
Oh, you can? Okay, good.
Yeah, I know that's what you're concerned about.
Were you there long enough to pick up an English accent?
Sadly, I was not. That would have been cool if I could do that. But I grew up in Baltimore, so I say to and do and those sorts of things. Not a cool English accent.
Do you have a welcome to the NFL moment when you were playing?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember it came in practice. So I grew up obviously watching a lot of football, and the dynasties that I watched were the Cowboys and the 49ers. My brother's favorite player was Jerry Rice. So my rookie season in Denver, Jerry Rice was in his 21st season in training camp. And my parents came out to watch a training camp practice. And one of the early practices, we were doing one-on-ones, and I came out there and lined up, and it was a cornrowed Jerry Rice across from me. And in that moment, it was just for like a split second before the snap, it was like, damn, that's Jerry Rice. And then I gave him the business because he was old. And and then I made the team, and he decided to retire from that point.
Do you think that's when he decided to retire? If he couldn't beat you, then it was time to retire?
He probably looked over and was like, I don't even know this kid's name, and I can't get off the jam. It's probably time for me to shut it down.
I'm getting covered by a guy who was born in England here.
That's true. Yeah, I was a third-round pick from Maryland. I'm not sure Jerry ever took the time to learn my name or will remember me, but I certainly remember that moment.
Hey, it's great to talk to you. Continue the great work there at the Mothership and the Undefeated, and we appreciate your time.
I appreciate you, Dan.
Thank you. That's Dominique Foxworth. He's a writer and commentator for the Undefeated. That's ESPN's content initiative exploring the intersections of sports, race, and culture. We'll come back. Got some phone calls. Somebody's got a problem with something I said earlier in the show, apparently. We'll settle on our poll question, play of the day as well, right after this.
Guys, we had a nice day yesterday. Baseball's right around the corner, and we stumbled upon a player from the past who is now becoming one of our new favorite players, Dick Drago.
Yeah.
I think it's Drago, right, Dan?
Yeah.
But Drago's
It's Drago.
Drago or Drago? Because it's
I like Drago, but I believe
So it's
Drago. Drago is the. I got a number of notes yesterday that Drago is.
By the way, we said that, Dan, I think you said that his name kind of is almost like an Italian porn star. If you look up in the dictionary what an Italian porn star looks like, it looks just like that.
That mustache?
The mustache, the hair flowing out the back.
You know, you could convince me that his real last name was Jeremy. He looks exactly like Ron Jeremy.
A lot like.
And that mustache almost looks
exactly
colored in.
Like an athletic Ron Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with a better fastball.
Like if Ron Jeremy put on a Red Sox.
What do we make of that mustache as
Uniform.
far as just a mustache?
Fantastic.
Does that not look like he doesn't have a mustache and someone took a black
He also
Sharpie
looks like he
and
could be
colored
in
it?
a spaghetti western.
Yes.
Now, he is not our all-time favorite obscure
I
baseball
know
player.
where we're going here.
Shartsy.
Yes, Shartsy.
Steve Sharts, he was dealing
Charter.
in Clearwater that year. I think that's Double-A. He was locked in.
Shartsy.
Then you remember his time in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre.
Smoldering.
Yeah, he was crushing, and I don't mean on the field.
Put a lot of pressure on the laundry department, as I recall.
That's right.
He looks like he's got a chip on his shoulder a little bit.
He by the way modernized his look. He looks super cool here, and he looked kind of dorky in the other one.
Yeah, Shartsy was killing
Well,
it.
he's really coming into his own.
Shartnader.
So
Shartsnado.
between Steve Sharts
Chardonnay.
and
Dick Drago.
Dick Drago,
Dick Drago.
He's bringing it right there.
Yeah.
By the way, when you look at how it's spelled Drago, where does that say Drago? In any, I don't speak Italian.
I think
but
because it becomes Drago once your first name becomes Dick.
Yeah. Yes.
And then no longer are you from the famous Dragos. It's Drago.
What was your welcome to the NBA moment?
My welcome to the NBA moment.
Yeah, like somebody dunked on you or somebody put up 50.
No. Damn, mine was early, man. I played terrible at Summer League, like the Summer League in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I played terrible, and I just remember, like, damn, if I can't play well against these guys, like, do I got a chance? Do I got a shot? But little did I know, it just groomed me into, like, working on my game even more and just making sure that I was prepared to actually play in an NBA game.
But was there a moment where you're on the court and you're saying, I'm guarding this guy, and who would have thought?
Oh, yeah. All right, it was J. Kidd. I think that was the first time I ever was in awe on the court, being a professional. I was playing against J. Kidd. I think he was playing for Dallas at the time. And it was just a matchup. You know what I mean? Just one of them things where it was like, man, I'm actually playing against a Hall of Famer, like somebody that I looked up to. So
did you talk to him?
It was surreal. No, I was too scared to talk to him. No way, bro.
And Jason's such a nice guy. Yeah, Jason's such a nice guy. So you could have said, hello, Mr. Kid. I'm Derek. You're one of my idols there.
Yeah, no, I was quiet, man. But he knew from the way that I was playing and competing, he knew that probably that I took the game kind of serious.
But Kobe didn't talk to you, did he?
No, Kobe didn't talk to me. Kobe was the first NBA player to actually, like, son me. Do you know what son mean?
Like take you under his wing?
No, just big brother you.
Yeah, mentor. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's different than a mentor.
Oh.
He stunning on. He threw his leverage on me. We were having a commercial shoot, and it was in like Malibu somewhere, and he showed up like 3 hours late. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, but I understood where he was coming from. Like, you know how guys are. Like, he made me pay my dues, but I waited for 3 hours for him, and we shot the commercial. It was a 2K commercial, and I had to deal with it, bro.
So he's sending you a message by showing up, and it's called leveraging you or sunning you?
Yeah, no, it's called sunning. So, yeah, it's a New York term, sun. He sunned me.
Oh, wow. I got to get hipper here, Derek. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, man. It's a new world out here.
Well, I'm twice as old as you are, so I should have twice as much knowledge, but I don't. Apparently, I don't. I don't have to.
All right, you got to stay hip, man.
Yeah.
All that knowledge, stay hip with it.
Oh my God.
The play of the day.
Runner left side, got it!
They're going to play it and play it. This is the play of the day.
Check this out. And here's the pitch. And there's a fly ball into left center field way back, and that one is gone. A home run. It is Mookie's turn to trot around the diamond.
Charlie Steiner with the call on KLAC. Dodgers put up 12 runs, allowed one against the Diamondbacks, their final summer camp exhibition against the Angels tonight. They open the season Thursday against the Giants. That's your play of the day. Play of the day brought to you by LegalZoom. You need to make it legal. Make it LegalZoom.com. They're not a law firm, so you don't have to leave your home. They don't charge you by the hour. Visit LegalZoom.com today for more information. A couple of phone calls here. Update our poll results. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach, will join us coming up in about a half hour. Keith in Ohio leads us off. Keith, what's on your mind today?
Well, how are you doing today, Dan?
Good, Keith. What's on your mind?
Well, you made a comment earlier about the Bengals receiving corps. You literally said they wouldn't have a chance in hell to basically get open for any targets this year.
Well, I didn't say they didn't have a chance in hell at any targets. I just said they had Joe Mixon and maybe A.J. Green.
And maybe, say his full name now. A.J. if he's healthy, Green. That's the only receiver we have?
Well, he's your marquee guy if he's really good, Keith.
Yeah, he's our marquee guy. So you don't think he's going to be good enough to leave a brand new T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd open this year?
Keith, he's good enough. Is he healthy enough?
I don't even think he has to be healthy enough to attract that much attention.
Keith,
I really don't.
Keith, who else?
They're going to control it. They're going to be on him for the first 4 games, making sure he's healthy.
Keith.
At least for the first 4
Keith,
games.
I love the passion you're bringing. I wish the Bengals played with this passion. But can you catch? Can you catch, Keith? Because Joe Burrow might need some guys out there.
Oh, I can definitely catch. But I really trust the receivers. I think Auden Tate catch just as good. He's just slow. He's just slower, and he's bigger than the rest of them. They need to use him right.
I would love to have A.J. Green out there. Thank you, Keith. John Ross is always injured. Eifert's always injured. Boyd is good. Tyler Boyd? Yeah, McLevin.
People are tweeting me like lists of like 7 undrafted guys. What about this guy? I mean, like some of these guys aren't even like real receivers that they're talking about.
Joe Burrow he had more talent at LSU than he'll have with the Bengals on offense.
Not even close.
Yes.
Well, Mixon's really good.
Mixon is good. And they're going to need him to be really good because he's going to be Joe Burrow's best friend. Like, that's the guy you're going to need to lean on to help you. And a lot of those are going to be dump-off passes there. But, look, if they're healthy, great. But they haven't been. What's A.J. Green? He's been last 5 years? I can't do this. I cannot break down the Bengals wide receiving core. I can't do it today. Tomorrow, maybe. Not today. Can't do it. Jeremy in Wisconsin joins us. Hey, Jeremy, what's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, Mr. Patrick. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
So I have a multi kind of point question as it relates to COVID testing in the NFL. And the first part is, do we know who's going to be conducting the testing? Is it going to be team officials or league officials? And I'll use a hypothetical as to why I think that should be or could be important. So I'll use Aaron Rodgers as an example because I root for the Green Bay Packers. Okay. So let's say in week 12, they're getting ready for a really important divisional game, and he develops a cough in the middle of the week. And, team officials tested for COVID, and they want to hide the results or, potentially hide the results because of the importance placed on that week's game. So do they then, as it relates to the quarantine Aaron before the results come back because it very well could be coronavirus, or do they wait until after? So that's my question.
It's dangerous to get into a hypothetical here, Jeremy, because I don't know the infrastructure, but thanks for the phone call. I would hope that it's left up to league doctors or medical staff to do this and, not have this reliant on the teams to do it, because we've seen teams when it comes to concussion protocol don't always follow protocol, and that would be a concern. But I don't know the testing. The NFL has basically said, hey, don't worry about us, we're playing football. They haven't released many details. And I have sources who don't even know the details. I mean, I didn't even know Minnesota, the Vikings, have gone to the great lengths for safety precautions there with their training camp. Peter King said that to me yesterday. I'd not heard anything about it. Kansas City Chiefs apparently have done a great job as well. I'm hopeful all of these teams have, but I don't know who is doing the testing there. The NFL has not leaked this out, and the NFL loves to leak out positive stories. I've not heard anything about that. Seems like a strange strategy in this day and age with all of these leagues, and we found out everything going on with all these other sports, in particular baseball, now the NBA. NFL been pretty tight-lipped about it. Maybe they got it buttoned up, but I did not know what the Vikings were doing and the steps they were taking to ensure safety for their players until Peter King said that yesterday. McLevin, have you seen, is it an independent medical staff that will conduct these tests?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I know there's every team has to get their plan approved by the NFL, and only a couple have so far.
Yeah, why rush into it?
By the way, that issue about lying about tests, forget the NFL. People are very dubious about college football.
Oh, college football, to me, that's where damage is done to those athletes because there's twice as many players, younger, there's more hits, and I go back to a Real Sports Bryant Gumbel feature on athletes who played college football, didn't play in the NFL, and the number of CTE patients, brain damage, severe concussions, because it goes undiagnosed. Or once you're done with college football, nobody's keeping up with you. And the longer you play, the more susceptible you are to long-lasting injuries, certainly with brain damage, CTE. All right, did we settle on a poll question? Boy, we didn't end the hour on a cheery note.
Which QB has been will be hurt most by no preseason? Cam is first, Joe Burrow second.
Yeah. I feel like Joe Burrow might have an easier time going into Cincinnati than Cam Newton into New England. Because Burrow's going in and they know that they're not the class of the division. Cam's going in to replace Tom Brady. And I don't know, it feels like that transition might be a little bit tougher, even with all that experience. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach. More phone calls as well coming up here on the Dan Patrick Show.
I thought we were trying 7 different pizzas.
No, we're doing
three pizza places gave 2
I know,
types of
but we
pizza,
wanted
and
them
one
to give us their specialty.
and a regular cheese pizza.
Everybody is doing a regular cheese pizza.
Okay, but if we took a bite out of each of the cheese pizzas and their special,
No, we're
that would be
not
a total
doing the
of 7
special.
slices.
No, because we're doing.
But that doesn't match up head to head.
That doesn't match up with my plan to eat 7 slices of pizza.
Well, you can do that.
It's a Thursday. You're
But
eating 7 slices of pizza.
this is the competition.
Okay.
That's all it
All right,
is.
whatever you
It's
like.
presentation, crust, toppings, taste. 1 through 5.
Why are there so many boxes here?
I have no idea why.
Because I thought we were trying 7 different
pizzas.
slices, 7 different pizzas.
Oh, God. Okay, so I don't want. We were just going to put 5 slices, 5 slices, 5 slices, 5 slices, and then that would be it. These would not be used because those would be the 3 other pies that would be the specialties of this.
I'm still a little confused. I'm just going to be honest.
Well, you're the one that's producing this. That's the problem.
Well, don't we need 5?
See, you wanted
There's
it to
5
run
of us, so why is there only
smoothly.
4? There's 5
You shouldn't have put it in the toddler's hands.
There you go.
And I still want to. I'm still trying to figure out how.
4.
I mean, this is what you asked for.
4 pizzas, 5 of
5
us.
slices, 5 slices, 5 slices, 5 slices.
And how are we ranking them?
4 pizzas, 5 slices, 5 people, 1 through 5.
Is it 1 through-
5 is the best.
1 through 5. Okay, because initially I thought you said 1
5
through
is
10.
the best.
There you go. It's 1 through 5.
But you don't want to be number 1? Like whoever
you're-
goes,
No, it's
yeah,
numbers. We're adding the numbers.
No, but in Madden you want to get a 99 rating. You don't want to get like an 83 rating.
I mean,
You're
I
on
can
one.
do with who's going to have the fewest number of votes.
like golf.
Right, so if you want total points, so 5 being the best, 1 to 5. All right, I think I got it.
5 slices,
Right.
5 slices, 5 slices, 5 slices.
Right. But there's still 5 of us though. That's still 4 spots.
4 pizzas.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm getting that.
4. So there's.
We need 5 plates though, 5 trays, don't we? So
No.
when
You
I-
can use one of these. This can be, so what you do is you go, here, let me pick up my slice. Okay, presentation, crust, taste. Oh, take a bite.
This is not your slab of wood.
It's not.
No, you can have
That's
that.
that's where I went wrong.
You can do that. And then if you want to set that to the side, you don't want to finish it, and then you could take another one and you could go, I'll take one of these.
Starting to make sense.
Then you could do that.
So
And then you're gonna
one's
do
the
that.
worst and 5's the
And then,
best.
and then that.
And that we call pizza A, B,
This
C,
was
and D.
supposed to be a fun thing. We had no issues at my house. No issues. All in iron.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
Take those to take that. Nice.
Congratulations, Brian. Wow. That was smooth.
Look at that. See, you guys thought this was a tough shot. For great shooters, it's not. Congrats, man.
Odorous, the lead singer.
It's so much fun.
That was his funeral.
From deep.
Yeah, I got to put on the banner still.
You see the arc on that?
That was cool.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Somebody just hit it?
John from Livingston, Texas.
All right, we got one more pair.
One more pair of tickets. All right, here we go.
Well done.
What's your name?
Congrats.
What's your name?
John? Pleasure, John.
Chris, where are you from?
John and Chris. You said Chris?
Chris in Iowa.
Congratulations.
They were worried the
All right,
sun
John,
was
all
too
you guys
hot.
get to shoot so you can stay
it's
here.
not.
And if you miss, you have to leave.
Not for these
I'm just
How
kidding.
awesome is that?
So awesome, dude.
Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
He's the popular Peter King. Who has the power to say to Dan Snyder, you must suck?
They don't. Dan Snyder's got to go, period. There's no way he should be an NFL owner.
But how does that happen, though, Peter?
It's not going to happen. I'm saying, in my opinion, Dan Snyder's got to go. He has to go. That wasn't 2 or 3 instances of sexual harassment. That was 17.
Bringing you everything happening in the world of sports daily.
Dan Patrick.
In his release, the only word in that release that was used more than the word "the" was Redskins.
Yeah.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
It's time for him to go. He's got to go.
This is Dan Patrick.
Welcome to the program. It's hour 2. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach, will join us coming up. And in an hour, we'll talk to the freshly minted #1 golfer in the world, Jon Rahm, will join us as well. You can join us in a variety of ways. You can tweet, email, dial us up. Marvin will be on the receiving end of your phone calls. Say good morning to Chat Row. Your moderator, Chat Row, is Tyler. Big German is directing this program. You can watch on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. And you can listen on our radio affiliates numbering 362 around the country. We all know that deadlines spur action, and that seems to be the case for the NFL. Yesterday, they reached an agreement with the NFL Players Association on a key issue. How frequently will players get tested? Once a day to start, then they'll move to every other day if the positive rate is below 5%. Sports had a great day yesterday. When you think about the NBA testing, what's going on with the NHL, with baseball, you're starting to see some very promising results here. And, something like this wouldn't have happened a couple of weeks ago. But they've settled these things, and now these leagues moved on to other unresolved issues, like the number of preseason games in the NFL or how training camp's going to be structured. Can you have inter-squad games? Could you maybe have a game, a simulated game with another team? And trying to figure out how you're going to have these athletes conditioned to be able to start the season without preseason and get ready to go into the regular season. Just trying to avoid soft tissue injuries is going to be a major priority for teams. That in addition to COVID. If you're an NFL fan, you probably feel a little better today, or at least you should, than yesterday. Owners and players want this to happen. Now it's a matter of translating that desire into the kind of policies that can ensure we can actually have football in the fall. But we'll talk to Brian Kelly about that with college football, because it feels like the NFL, full speed ahead. They haven't leaked too many details, and they love to leak some positive information. They haven't said much here about getting this season off on time. But this is a little bit of a hiccup with no preseason, because it does still create that doubt. Can you start on time? Maybe they can. We really don't need that many preseason games. And keep in mind, yesterday at this time, I was told on Sunday night, now they're going down to 1 preseason game. And I went, oh, okay, that was quick. And then by the end of yesterday, the offer was 0 games. So it's starting to escalate. And now you're going to see that these NFL teams probably won't have any preseason games. And that's going to hurt a couple of players, a couple of coaches. It'll hurt some players who are trying to make rosters here. The preseason, I'm a preseason fan, because I like to see the players who maybe you followed in college and they get a chance. And usually you're looking at that 3rd, 4th, 5th round player who does have a really good chance of making the team and having an impact on these teams. Rookie quarterback, I'm always interested just to see how they look. Daniel Jones looked good in preseason. And I know that we can skew the numbers in preseason. You go, man, he looked pretty good. Mitchell Trubisky looked great in the preseason, his rookie year. Chase Daniel is the greatest preseason quarterback of all time. The numbers lie. But I want to see your composure. And the mark of a quarterback who has that ability to be able to compartmentalize and go, okay, that's one play, now move on, It's the quarterback who gets sacked, then what's he do the next play? The quarterback who throws the interception, what's he do the next time he gets back on the field? These guys are so used to success and high levels of success. That's where I want to see what happens when something goes wrong, because the walls start to close in, the pocket gets muddier, the speed is still, alarmingly fast, and then you can see where quarterbacks slow everything down, and then it clicks, and then they get it. And Daniel Jones last year quietly got it. Kyler Murray, all the doubters, he's going to get passes knocked down, going to Arizona, they're not very good. Kyler Murray turned in a very respectable rookie season. Now you want to see what he does this next season, because we saw Baker Mayfield, really good rookie season, and then he regressed. And that's what you're looking for. Like Dwayne Haskins, there are people who feel like, and I'm talking about NFL analysts, and two in particular I've spoken to, they like what they've seen with Dwayne Haskins. And I said, well, what have you really seen? Lost weight, and you're going to have Ron Rivera in there, who's worked with Cam Newton, even though they're not the same type quarterback, but being able to have somebody who has worked with an NFL MVP at quarterback. And just to be able to impart some wisdom on Dwayne Haskins, because I do think they have some weapons there in Washington, wide receivers, and he throws a great deep ball. The question is, will he take the next step? That's what I'm always looking for. Josh Allen. Is this who Josh Allen is going to be? And that is show you signs of greatness, a glimpse of greatness, but then also he'll have those plays where you go, what is he thinking? Lamar Jackson, does he take the next step? What is that next step? Is the next step possible? 1,200 yards, 36 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, what happens with a new contract, winning a Super Bowl? Is Jared Goff a flash? Is he going to be able to rally, come back, prove the doubters wrong? Carson Wentz, can he stay healthy? Like, you have all of these questions there. Every one of these teams, you can look at the quarterback and you'll have a question about them. Tom Brady getting acclimated to the NFC and playing for Bruce Arians in Tampa. Phillip Rivers playing for the Colts. Aaron Rodgers. Who is Aaron Rodgers anymore? Who are the Packers? Ben coming back from a serious injury. Baker Mayfield. Go down the list. You got a question. Is Tyrod Taylor your starter? Is Ryan Fitzpatrick your starter? Will Tua get a chance to start? Do you want Joe Burrow starting the season? Like, these are all storylines that will play out, and no preseason now. And you're going to have a little bit more pressure, a lot more pressure on the rookie quarterbacks, but Cam's going to have more pressure. Tom Brady will have more pressure. Phillip Rivers is going to have more pressure. When you change teams, that ability to be able to go, we're going to hit the ground running. You're going to have teams, and Belichick always, not that he says this, but his players will tell this to you, or former players, they know who they are after the first month. Like, Belichick treats the first month of the season like it's the preseason. Like, he doesn't panic. But, of course, in the AFC East, you don't have to panic. He's going to have to panic a little bit more with, Buffalo being real. Maybe the Jets improve, and we know the Dolphins are a tough out for the Patriots at least. But, these coaches approach it differently. Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, he can't get off to a 1-3 start. I worry about those personalities. Whereas Belichick, he goes 1-3, he's not going to panic because he'll eventually know who his team is after that first month. McLevin, what's the poll question today?
Which QB will be hurt most by not having a preseason? It's actually Cam Newton is a strong number one, and then Burrow and Herbert are tied for second. Nobody has Tom Brady on here. They think he'll be fine.
Yeah. He should be, because the only thing we worry about is the offensive line there. But he's got weapons there, and he'll love playing for Bruce Arians. And he's been working out with these guys, too. Do you want to do another poll question?
Yeah. You want our silly poll from over here? We were debating. It started out with Seton wondering about the implications of the salary cap of Patrick Mahomes' injury guarantee, at which point everybody's eyes glazed over, including Seton's. We all got confused. Which concept in sports causes you the most misunderstanding? You ready? Salary cap in the NFL.
Yeah.
The NHL blue line. Oh. Soccer offsides. And anyone can jump in here, by the way. Cricket as a sport. And I just put in for fun, whatever that thing that Mike Vrabel did to Bill Belichick in the playoffs last year that I just could not wrap my head around, where he kept on running the clock down.
Oh, yeah.
Or side one is when Bill Belichick did that thing to the Ravens where he was shorter reporting in guys.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. But we're struggling with the salary cap over here, Dan. I don't know if you have it mastered.
Well, no, I haven't. And now you're going to have the possibility, due to the pandemic, that the salary cap will go down $20 to $30 million. And then what's that going to do to contracts? And is Mahomes' salary contract tied to the salary cap? How much is tied to the salary cap?
Percentage of the salary cap? That's not. But there's triggers in there that will then activate the.
The old triggers.
What?
Hey, trigger. And then I try to figure it out just enough. And then Mahomes said he calls up Chris Jones, their great defensive lineman, and says, hey, let's get your deal done. I left some money for you. I don't know how much he left him, but I think everybody is in agreement that Patrick Mahomes' deal, if he's staying healthy, is going to turn out to be a win for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like Bryce Harper. That deal is going to turn out to be a team positive contract. At the time, we look at these deals and we go, I can't believe. I think I said it about Bryce Harper. I'm not the biggest Bryce Harper fan, but I understand why people, I love watching him. I just don't know if he's as good as the hype that goes along with it. But, you want to pay him that kind of money, and then you start to look at what these numbers are. Russell Wilson, when he signed his extension, he was the highest paid quarterback for like a day or something. And you start to look at those numbers, you go, wow, that's a lot of money. And then you realize it's not by comparison. Everybody gets their day to be the highest paid player in the sport when it comes to being a quarterback. By the way, Antonio Brown has retired. Has he sent in the papers that he's retired? That's what I want to know. He said that he's retired. I'd like to see if there's retirement papers there. He doesn't even know if he can play for a team because is the NFL going to discipline him? Let's say Tyler Lockett got hurt for Seattle in week 4. Do the Seahawks reach out to Antonio Brown? Can you reach out to Antonio Brown? Because I don't even know if he's going to be disciplined by the NFL. And I don't know if there's an ongoing investigation there. The NFL does not want Antonio Brown back in the league. And Antonio Brown, is he announcing his retirement? Is it a preemptive strike because nobody's going to pick him up? So it's like the guy who takes his name out of the running for a job who wasn't going to get the job, but he's going to take his name out of. I've taken my name out of the running for jobs before because I wasn't going to get those jobs. But I'm not interested in that. Oh, hosting Jeopardy? Oh, I'm going to take my name out of the running for that. You weren't going to get a chance to be there. Yeah, Paul.
Imagine you get fired from a company a year later. They're going on with their business. You're going on with their business. You run in a year later and go, I quit. It's Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, see.
The best part is that it was only 7 days earlier that he said, gearing up to do it again.
Oh, I know.
Ready to come back.
That kind of decisiveness you want in your franchise.
Yeah.
AB 2.0.
I worry about him.
Yeah.
I do. Long term, I worry about him. A couple other things. Sean McVay is the Rams head coach, and he's a little skeptical about the NFL's plan.
What I've been telling our people is we're going to have a great plan. Whether we get a chance to execute that plan now or a little bit later remains to be seen. But I am confident we'll have a season. We'll be able to play football. Whether or not it goes exactly on the schedule that we've all seen, that's something that I'm a little skeptical of right now.
And the coach also is in agreement with me about the start of the season.
Usually when you get about a week out, and right now that's exactly where we're at, start to get revved up, get excited, and there's something about this time that you know the amount of things that have to take place for that to logistically get off and get going. Something about it tells me maybe there's a chance that things get moved back.
Yep, I agree. Also, that was courtesy of the Helipod podcast. And LeBron James met with the media, and he talked about what the bubble is like.
I think every season has its own challenges. The mentality for me, hasn't changed, even though we had the layoff. But having this experience right here, it feels like a big old AAU tournament for grown men. So you take it and you enjoy it, and we get to do what we love to do, and that's play the game of basketball and be with our teammates and brothers. So it's all good.
Yeah, I like it. It's like an AAU tournament there. And if you've ever been to those tournaments, it's just 5 or 6 different courts, and you got, games going on. You got random people walking around. LeBron also talked about the MVP race as well.
As far as the MVP race, I think, show what I'm capable of doing, not only individually, but from a team's perspective. Us being number 1 in the West, there was a lot of conversation about LeBron can do those things in the East, but if he ever came to the West, what can he do? So, I heard all of that. To be able to have our team at the top of the Western Conference and playing the way that we were playing at that time and the way I was playing, that's definitely a good feeling.
I don't know if somebody just asked him the simple question, who do you think is the MVP? Because I'd love to hear if he says he is. That'd be great. I'd love to hear. Tell me why. If he says I am, then I'd say tell me why. Because I'd be curious about that. And I think in his heart he knows that he's the MVP. He's the MVP of the sport. Giannis, I think, is going to do a double duty here, MVP and also Defensive Player of the Year. That doesn't happen often. Let me get a couple of phone calls in here. John in South Carolina. Hey, John, what do you have for me?
Hey, Dan. Love your show. I'm on my way to the hospital to work, so I don't have much time. Just came up with an idea. I think we should scrap the NFL and college football together, and why not have the NFL teams, college teams in their area?
Yep, we lost you, John. I'm not quite sure what he said.
He said something about get rid of football, which that didn't work.
Well, then I think he was saying NFL in college towns. Yes.
Well, what he was saying was that if we actually just follow the and then we were just going to go ahead and go to the games, and then you don't have to worry.
Michael in Wisconsin. Hey, Mike, what do you have for me?
Hey, DP, 6'2", 280, first time, long time. So I have an idea for the NFL schedule.
Oh.
Follow the baseball format, play regional games. 2 leagues, 4 divisions, the Midwest, the Southeast, Northeast, and the West.
Okay.
14-game schedule, play your division twice.
Okay.
Networks might not like the missing 2 games, but at least you get football.
All right.
Probably.
Thank you, Michael. At this point, I saw a poll. Did you see these numbers, McLevin? Then we'll take a break. ESPN did a survey. Over 1,000 sports fans age 18 and older, and found that 78% were in favor of sports resuming play despite restrictions on fan attendance. And my reaction was, what's wrong with the other 22%? Like at this point, you can't have fans and you don't want sports? Would you rather have nothing? Wow. 78% of the fans were in favor of sports returning, even if there are no fans. 22% were not. What is wrong with you, 22%?
If you offer me a bratwurst and there's no mustard, I'm not just going to throw the bratwurst away. I'm going to eat it.
I'm going to give you bratwurst, no mustard, no bun.
Okay.
And you're still doing it.
Fine.
By the way, we did a pizza challenge, and we showed the first segment of 4 great pizzerias, as we like to say, in the New Haven, Connecticut area. Fritzy had a hard time kind of understanding what the whole concept was.
Looking back, it was basic math.
It was
just plates and pizza slice involved.
I think during this break, if you're watching on YouTube.com, we crown it. There were no losers, but we do crown a champ. We had a taste test with presentation, sauce, crust, and we differed on this. But 4 great pizzerias in this area. We got the pizza in late last week, and then we recorded it so we could play it during the commercial breaks when you're watching on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame head coach, will join us coming up next. Is he going to guarantee there will be a season, and a season where Notre Dame doesn't play USC for the first time since World War II. 20 after the hour, this is the Dan Patrick Show. You know, I'm lucky in this position because occasionally I'll get things from sponsors, and I got some earbuds, and I took them home. And then I realized that I couldn't find them. And then I realized that my son had them in his ears. Everyday E25 earbuds from Raycon. And then I brought home another pair. And then I realized that they were in my daughter's ears. And I realized I'm not bringing anything home anymore. But you'll understand why people love these wireless earbuds. Seamless Bluetooth pairing. There's more bass. You get 6 hours of playtime. And you love the design, the fit. It's nice. It's noise isolating fit there. There's no dangling wires or stems. The earbuds are stylish. They're discreet. And you're going to love the sound. They're comfortable. Wireless earbuds, so comfortable. And they're about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds on the market. And they sound just as amazing. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/Patrick. That's buyraycon.com/Patrick for 15% off. All right, let's try not to screw this up.
Too late.
All right. So
when do you want to go through the rules?
Well, I thought I went through the rules. What it is presentation, crust, toppings, taste, 1 through 5, 5 being the best. So we have 4 pizzas with 5 slices one for each of us. So Pizza A, if you'll watch me, this is what I'm going to do because Todd is so
It's starting to make more sense now.
So if I go Pizza A, presentation, crust, toppings.
Okay.
Hey.
They're all plain.
Yeah. We want to.
So is that a 0 for toppings then, or a 5 for toppings?
That's not plain.
So we should
There's nothing there.
Should we each grab a plate and grab the 4 pieces of pizza?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna put
But you got to remember which one.
Oh yeah, that's gonna make it.
So you just do one at a time. Pizza A.
I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna take this.
Do we even need a plate?
Can I take that one?
Todd's the one I'm worried about.
I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Now, these are some of the best pizzas in the country. Just letting you know, Todd.
We can move on to C. Is that okay?
If you want to, we've already done it.
You did C already?
You got 3 slices, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C.
So I had a piece from A, a piece from B, and now I'm moving on to C. Am I doing this wrong?
You got to be kidding me. Do you understand this?
I tried a piece of A, and then I just.
No, are you being serious?
I'm being totally serious.
Do you understand?
I had a slice of A and a slice of B, and now I'm trying a slice of C. Are we trying a piece of each of these? I'm being totally serious right now.
Holy you got to be kidding me.
Aren't we
you
trying
got one from here,
right?
And you got one from here. Then the next one would be right there, Todd.
Now I'm going to take one from C. That's what I'm saying. I haven't tried C or D yet.
Yeah, take one from C. I'll leave you with this. Seton does a Steve Ballmer impersonation.
You know, Al Michaels told me about this. He actually did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really did.
Okay.
That's like the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Okay, now I don't.
In the middle of the fairway, Al Michaels is doing your impersonation.
No!
Either Al or Kinnear, one of the two.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, now will you get in trouble if you laugh at his impersonation of Steve?
Of course not.
Okay. All right. Ballmer's got a good sense of humor, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Seton saw this when Ballmer was
The Microsoft?
Yeah.
Right? That he would come
on
out
stage.
The dance thing.
and he would get everybody fired up.
Yes.
All right, so the Clippers owner. So Seton, if you'll indulge us with your Steve Ballmer impersonation.
I've seen that dance.
You hope to see it a few more times this season.
Listen, we see that dance. That means
That
good
means
things
good
are happening.
stuff.
Yes.
Hey. Dan Patrick Show brought to you by Mercedes-AMG. Be prepared for whatever comes your way. It's the all-new GT four-door coupe because life is a race. Visit your local dealership for a test drive today. If you missed any of our interviews from the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave, go to the Dan Patrick Show app or danpatrick.com. Watch and listen from inside the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave. Mercedes-AMG, driving performance. This information from Notre Dame Sports Information. We just had our third round of testing numbers come back, and since we began on June 18th, we have administered 356 tests and have had only 2 positive results. Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly joining us on the program. How optimistic are you, Coach, that we're going to start on time when you face Navy?
I'm optimistic that we're going to start. Then students get on campus and our guys move off campus. Essentially, Dan, we leave the bubble and start the season. So unlike maybe some of the professional teams like the NHL or, the NBA, they move into a bubble and start their season. College football leaves the bubble and starts the season. So we'll get to the starting line. We'll see what happens after that.
But what is your message and what will your message be to your athletes once school starts and, campus activities, going off campus, socializing?
What's your priority? If you want to play college football this fall, you'll have to do the things that you've done over the last 4 weeks, and the numbers speak for themselves, right? We've already, said that, you can do this, but you've done it in a confined environment. But they have had to do the things necessary, right? They've stayed out of the bars. They've stayed away from parties, social distancing, wearing masks, washing hands, all the things that we already know, right? We've heard that day in and day out. They'll have to continue that discipline, and there's going to have to be peer accountability. Guys are going to have to say to other guys, you can't do that because I want to play this fall. And if you do that and you get me sick, I'm not going to be happy. So a big dose of peer accountability, a good dose of guys wanting to play the season is really going to be about what happens when the season starts.
Have you started practicing?
No, we have not. We're in strength training and conditioning. And really it's about 4 weeks in. Most football programs would normally get about 8 weeks, Dan, prior to their first padded practice. So, we still got some work to do relative to the time off. Remember now that no spring practice, no real designated off season. These guys were deconditioned a little bit. So we're getting back there, but we still need a little bit more time to continue to condition our athletes.
Whose protocols are in place, Notre Dame's or the NCAA's?
Notre Dame's. So this has really been driven by each institution. Certainly there's an eye towards the state's CDC guidelines, and certainly the NCAA has some. One in particular would be the 72-hour testing mandate, where all teams must be tested 72 hours prior to competition. But by and large, this has been, Dan, about the institutions putting together their own procedures and protocols as it relates to how to keep their football team safe and healthy.
What about non-conference games being canceled by, We've seen this with the Pac-12, the Big Ten. How's that affecting Notre Dame?
Well, certainly as an independent, we we lose some of those natural rivalries that we've played for years. Certainly the USC game, certainly Stanford. We will not play Wisconsin. But we have a collateral agreement with the ACC, and so we will lean heavily on that. Jack Swarbrick has certainly been involved in that in terms of setting up a schedule. We feel very confident, Dan, at the end of the day, we're going to have a very competitive schedule using ACC as a really good partner in this whole scheduling for us moving forward. Now, there are conferences that haven't come out with not wanting to give up those non-league games, and so those stay on the table for us as well. So we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, could you see where the SEC just says we're playing football, whether the Pac-12 or Big 12 or Big 10? We talked to Commissioner Sankey that I don't know if they ruled it out, but could you see where a conference just says we're taking care of our own here?
Yeah, certainly. I could see that, there's some natural rivalries, right, that the ACC and the SEC has, right? The South Carolina Clemson game, Kentucky Louisville. Florida against Florida State. We have Arkansas on our schedule this year. So, that's conceivable that those games may want to stay on the schedule. So, as I said, I think the SEC is evaluating, the landscape in our country and where we are. And I think the ACC may be doing that as well. So I think you'll see some things that will start to clear up over the next week.
Was there a chance you were going to play Alabama?
No, I don't believe we've got them scheduled down the road here in a couple of years. So I think that was going to be suffice for us. And certainly those are the kind of games we want to play. We've got Ohio State coming on our schedule, Wisconsin, Alabama in a couple of years. So I don't believe that was going to happen. When you're when you're an independent and you have an open schedule, everybody's going to look towards Notre Dame as being the first one that you fill it with.
We're talking to Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame head coach, who I believe, did you start your coaching career coaching women's softball?
I did. Yeah, it was a great experiment for me. More than an experiment, I think it really laid the foundation for me in terms of wanting to be around people that just love to play. And the ladies that I coached love to play the game. There was no moving on to the professional ranks. It was playing the game because they love to play. And I think that's what really kind of energized me in my coaching profession, is that I wanted to be around people that just enjoyed to play and had that genuine fire for the game itself.
And you had stops along the way: Cincinnati, Central Michigan, Grand Valley State, where you won a couple of national titles. You get to Notre Dame, and I think we discussed this before. Like, does the competitor say, now I want to see what I would do in the NFL? Like, do you harbor those thoughts, that competitiveness that you say, okay, let me see if I could do it in the NFL?
I think I did at times. I don't anymore, because I think I've got a better sense and understanding of what the NFL model looks like. And I'd much prefer to have, and this isn't to be said in a manner that I want control, but I do like the fact that I can have say over my roster, that I do have say over, who I recruit on a day-to-day basis. And in some senses, you probably wouldn't have it. And certainly I wouldn't, as a first-time NFL head coach, have that kind of say and control over the fate of where my program would go, or in that sense, franchise. So I really like that. And having 30 years in college football invested in having those kind of decisions, it's really difficult to move in another direction.
We've talked about the changing of the guard, the new guard of quarterbacks coming in, and I'm curious, you being an offensive-minded guy, the quarterback you're bringing in, is it kind of reflective of what the NFL is looking for success there with Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, that dual threat?
It's interesting that we have these conversations, because for the last 3 to 5 years, everyone had been saying, we'll never go to the college type quarterback in the NFL. He'll never make it. He'll never get through. He'll never get through the season. And now it's certainly it's the best athlete, right?
Yeah.
If you're in high school, who touches the football every time? It's not the corner. It's the best athlete is the quarterback. And, whether it's Cam Newton or whether it's Jackson, Mahomes just got paid. I think he's a pretty good athlete. It's going to be about a guy that can extend and keep plays alive outside the realm of what that guy drew up on the board. We're only as smart as the guy that can keep the play alive, and that's the quarterback that's a dual athlete.
Yeah. Did you recruit any of these guys? Were you in on any of these players at Notre Dame?
I think in some instances, if you look across the board, there's a number of guys that we had conversations with that are in the NFL today. But quarterbacking is such inexact science at that age. You know what I mean? Everybody has, it's the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And so we have conversations with a number of guys across the board. I remember when Aaron Rodgers was coming out of junior college and I was in Central Michigan, we made a call into him and he wasn't going to leave the West Coast, and so, those kinds of conversations happen throughout recruiting. Whether you actually had any kind of chance of getting those quarterbacks is hard to say, but had probably conversations with 10 or 15 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Tom Izzo, the Michigan State head coach, said it still haunts him that he missed out on Chris Webber. Is there a player that still haunts you that you missed out on?
Oh my, after doing it for 30 years, probably, I don't know if you know the story, but I was at Central Michigan and, we recruited JJ Watt and we signed JJ Watt at Central Michigan. And then I left to take the job at Cincinnati and JJ Watt left to go to Wisconsin. I would have, in retrospect, I would have packed, I would have packed him up in my suitcase. Guys like that are once in a lifetime having a chance to coach a guy like that. So those are the ones that come back to you sometimes.
Yeah, but Coach, you had him as a tight end, though, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, but he was going to move. But I had Jason Kelsey as a quarterback, so how smart am I? Guys, you recruit them, and you start them in a position, and they eventually move one day.
Yeah, Travis Kelce was an unbelievable athlete. Well, he is an unbelievable athlete.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah. We had him as our goal line quarterback as a true freshman, and we knew that he wasn't going to last very long at the quarterback position. But he was such a great athlete. We could have played him anywhere.
Coach, good to talk to you. Hopefully we're this optimistic as we get ready to start the season. Do you know if you're starting on September 5th or 6th against Navy?
We really don't know now. I mean, once we've obviously, had the non-league games taken away from us in a large degree, our calendar will be probably decided a lot by what the ACC schedule looks like. So sometime next week, we'll have a better understanding of when we start.
Yeah, can you call me and just let me know so I can plan? That's a game I like to watch, Naval Academy
No doubt.
against Notre Dame. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. That's Coach Brian Kelly. I think he's going to call me. It sounded like that, right? September 5th or 6th. That game was supposed to be in Ireland, but they moved it. That would have been – and Notre Dame's played there before, but that would have been a fun trip to take, the Naval Academy against Notre Dame in Ireland. All right, John Rahm is going to join us coming up top of the hour. He's the number one player on the PGA Tour. Yes, Paulie?
We're due for a bro trip when things start clearing up here. Sports-ish bro trip, barbecue, something. I don't know if it's Ireland or SEC.
I gave you pizza. We had a pizza party.
It was great.
Yeah, and we're going to reveal the winner of our pizza contest coming up during the commercial break here on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. You know who won? We all did. We're all winners there. Great pizza that we got. And we did declare one place a winner, and everybody else finished tied for second. We'll take a break and have that for you coming up. Phone calls. And McLovin, are you going to stay with the poll question, or are you going to change
We got some more options.
Oh.
After the break.
Are they different than the ones you gave me earlier?
Well, we haven't read all the ones that we gave you earlier. But, yeah, we gave some different ones.
Thank you, McLovin. I'll have to ask Ethan. Maybe he's got a question. Did you see where, despite there already being 3 outs in the 5th inning of the Yankees game against the Phillies manager, Joe Girardi, wanted his pitcher, Vince Velasquez, to face one more batter, and that batter happened to be Aaron Judge? Yeah, he hit a home run. Well, you want to get used to that if you're facing Aaron Judge.
That's what happens when you try to get 4 outs in an inning against the Yankees. They're not going to put up with that.
Thank you, Todd. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll come back after this on the Dan Patrick Show. All right, let's try not to screw this up.
Too late.
All right. So,
when do you want to go through the rules?
McLovin, you got yours?
I do. I have my final score.
Does anybody have one that's drastically better?
I do.
I think I do too.
Yeah.
At least today it is.
Today, yeah.
All right.
Right now.
Let's go.
Hold on. I got to add up. I got to tap it.
Did you add yours up?
I did.
Okay.
I have it all right here.
Todd?
I've got a total of 10 points for Pizza A.
Okay. Then you go B.
B, I have 13.
Okay.
C, I have 11.
Okay.
D, I have 16.
16
for D.
For D.
That does not surprise me.
Seton O'Connor, Jr. the third.
With a mouthful.
With a mouthful.
That's the way we do it around here.
For A, I have a score of 15.
Wow.
15. B,
I have a 10.
Ooh. C,
8.
C is not too well.
And D, just 6.
Wow. Very difficult.
Wow.
You know what should I tell you my problem with, well, C, obviously, I think the problem is everybody has. Yours is burnt.
What?
My piece for C was like completely charred.
That's
so
one
I
of the
couldn't really.
affects the
That's one of the reasons I liked it.
Some people like that. Polyester?
Pizza A. Let me just spit some Pizza A out. I'm going to go 15. Love the sauce. 15 for Pizza A. 13 for Pizza B. 18 for Pizza C.
Wow.
Clear winner. Love the char. Pizza D, I'm giving an 11. Little undercooked, but very tasty.
All right. McLovin?
Okay. Pizza A, and I can't even remember why, got a 9.
Okay.
Pizza B got a 12. Pizza C, 19.
Wow.
I'm with you.
I like the thin crust. I'm a thin crust guy. And last one, 14. I really solid. I didn't love the presentation, but the rest the taste was really good.
All right. A, I had 11. B, 13. C, 13. D, 15.
Oh, I had very
This
similar
is very
numbers to yours.
balanced. This is very
I
balanced.
have very similar numbers to yours.
So we'll have to come back from this commercial break to do the final tabulation. There are no losers.
There are no
There's
losers.
only one winner.
Everybody else is a very close second.
Have 5 hot dogs, please. Thank you, sir. Any mustard? Ketchup? Relish? Relish? That's definitely Australian. Relish? Sauerkraut? Nothing particularly British about sauerkraut, is there? A shark burger? Never heard of a shark burger. Some mustard, please. Just mustard, thank you. Can I do 3 of them with just mustard, please? This is so stupid.
Say hi to him if you go over there.
Hello. Somebody just gave me the finger. Hello. That's not for me.
A shark.
Holy.
Oh.
Hi. Hello.
Somebody.
A lot of strange looks.
Did you get mustard?
Yeah. 2 plain. Yes, sir.
Dan, look, nobody's noticing him at all.
I feel like we should take the subway.
That's great.
Or the tube. The tube.
Love the show.
Here's one.
Oh, hey, man. Thanks, bro. I'm all right. How you doing, bro?
Onions and mustard would be good.
Yeah, just
All right. Thank you.
I love that one person has batted an eye.
There you are. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. What's happening, man? I'm all right. How you doing?
Great.
Great.
Good one.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man. Oh, no more English accent. I screwed that
He's
one
a
up.
good sport.
How much time do we have?
We're just about to go to break.
All right.
McLovin, why don't you change the poll question to will you miss the preseason?
Okay.
I'm curious because I'm still baffled by this ESPN poll that said 78% of fans are in favor of sports returning even if there are no fans. Is there an alternative to the question? Is it just, are you in favor of sports returning even if there are no fans? Yes or no?
Some people must have implied that, or some people are saying if there are no fans, I don't want to go, or I don't want to be involved. They're really mad about no fans.
Well, we can't do anything about it unless we try to do what NASCAR is doing. And maybe we get to that point where you have, so what fans are willing to watch if there are 12,000 fans in the stands. Now all of a sudden you're going to watch. To me, it doesn't make a difference. And the fans were ages 18 and older there. So, yeah, I'm curious about that. But just give me something that's live, something that's actually happening right in front of me. I don't care if there's fans. I'm going to miss the ambiance for a little while, and then after that, we're just going to get used to it. We have to. Yeah, Paul.
You know, I've watched a lot of soccer the past couple months, and the soccer players are in their full uniforms and they're playing at their home arenas. They hold 60,000, but nobody's there. Basketball is going to be the weirdest. When the NBA comes back and these guys are being introduced at a place that looks like a junior college gym, when LeBron James in full uniform as a Laker comes out playing in a gym that looks like something he hadn't played in since he was probably a sophomore in high school. That's the smallest gym he's probably played in. It's going to look very weird.
But after a while, the way it's shot, that's going to be the key is how they are shooting the games themselves, how they frame it. That you can make something look really good, really big, really small. It depends on the angles that TNT is able to give us in ESPN. That's going to be the key. I'm excited that you're going to have double headers or triple headers. That's going to be fun to be able to watch that. You might have 3 games in a day. It'd be great. Afternoon game, early evening, later in the evening. Damian Lillard, I think, is joining us on the program tomorrow from the bubble. Did you see his setup down there? Got a presidential suite. He's got his recording studio there as well. Yeah, I saw the tour of where he's staying there. That's a nice little crib you got down there. I'm okay. He could have social distancing in his room without a problem. You could have 20 people in there and have social distancing. Yes, McLovin.
See, I'm worried about you with all these sports going on at once because you're a notorious flipper. Like, you'll simultaneously watch 3 games at once.
Yes.
So you have hockey, baseball, basketball.
Yeah, but that's fun.
And you'll work in like some documentary.
Maine Cabin Masters.
Yeah, Sunderland Till I Die. Or
yeah, I just finished the Stephon Marbury documentary, Kid from Coney Island. Very good. I just stumbled upon a movie, Desperados. It's about 3 women who go to Mexico.
Don't tell me you clicked on that.
I did.
Oh, my God.
I did.
That's a movie that I would watch.
I know, but what happens is you'll see a website that'll go top 10 movies on Netflix. So I always scroll through to see if I would be interested in something. And I was going to do the Charlize Theron movie.
Watched it.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. Charlize
No matter
Theron
what it
action
is.
flick?
No matter what Charlize Theron movie, he's seen it.
It was a combination of about 400 different movies just glommed into one, the Charlize Theron movie.
And I also watched Extraction with one of the Hemsworth brothers.
You need
Oh,
sport.
yeah. I saw that one too.
I mean, that is reason number 572 that we need sports back. That I'm watching things like Desperados and Extraction. Yes.
Well, now that you mention it, you're right. You might be onto something because I did just find myself with my son binging the Hunger Games movies and really enjoyed them.
Ooh.
I'm like, wow, these are great.
I just started rereading the Da Vinci Code. I don't know why. You know, it's one of those where my wife said, hey, can you clean out this room in here? And I'm in there, and all of a sudden I see The Firm, and I go, oh, man, I read this. Oh, Da Vinci Code. I'm, 100 pages into the Da Vinci Code, and it's a page-turner. Yeah, Paul.
Your movie Desperados that you watched got a 16% positive on Rotten Tomatoes. Here's the summary. Dumb, dated, desperate, and downright disappointing. And you know how much I hate alliteration.
Yeah. But that sounds like me. Yes, McLovin.
By the way, if you've seen the Chris Hemsworth movie Extraction, you've seen the Charlize Theron movie. They're the same movie, just interchange the two actors.
What is her movie?
It's about these warriors.
No, I know what it is, but what's the name of it?
I have no idea.
You watched the movie.
I have zero idea what the name was. But it's very much like Extraction, which was kind of cool, no? It's like a John Wick, kill everybody kind of
The Old Guard?
The Old Guard.
The Old Guard, yeah.
It got good reviews.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
Desperados is a lot like like a Bad Housewives kind of movie where these women go down to Mexico and cut loose.
Yeah. But I clicked on it. Hey, you look at Desperate Times, man. I just go, okay, I'll do it. And then, because my wife will sometimes go, what are you watching? And I'll say, when I'm watching, go, why are you watching that? And I go, I have no idea. Like I clicked on it, and sometimes it's like I click on a basketball game or a sporting event that is not a popular one because I feel like, well, nobody's watching it, therefore I'll watch it. And then sometimes I'll click on, a stand-up comedian, or it might be a movie that I had not heard anything about or didn't get good reviews. And I go, I should watch this because maybe somebody else is not watching this. That's not a good approach, by the way. Justin in Utah joins us. Good morning, Justin. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Dan, 5'11", 250.
All right.
So I'm just calling in about the ESPN poll that you've been talking about.
Yep.
And how some people might be, if there's 10,000 or 15,000 fans in the stands, then I'll watch.
Yeah.
As a lifelong Mariner fan, I can vouch that even if there's 10,000 fans in the stands, no one's watching that game.
Well, that would be a normal game for the Mariners. So you would just say, hey, the Mariners are playing. You wouldn't go, boy, they got 10,000 fans in the stands. But thank you, Justin. That was a shot at the Seattle Mariners there. I was watching Robinson Cano. I forgot he was on the Mets because we forgot he was on the Mariners for so many years. That was one of those where this guy played for the Yankees, and then he signed that deal with Seattle. And I said, say goodbye to Robinson Cano. You're not going to hear from him again for a while. Boy, but you do career salary. Wasn't that one of Jay-Z's, wasn't that Rock Nation, one of their first clients was Robinson Cano, don't you know? And now he's playing second base. He looks huge out there at second base. And of course, he had reasons why he looked that way before.
Did he miss 82 games?
Yeah, I think they sat him down. They put him in timeout. Do you have career salary for Robinson Cano? Don't you know?
I may need a minute. Hold it. His last year with the Yankees, he was making $15 million. He actually left the Yankees to take a pay raise. Thank you. He made 3 All-Star games in the past 7 years. Not so bad.
Yeah, but I don't trust any of his numbers.
He's got 3 more years at $24 million a year.
Isn't that his number?
Yeah. When it's all said and done, I'm going to go $260 million.
Wait, we're supposed to guess.
Oh, my bad.
I was going to say 250.
You would have been really close.
Thanks, Paul.
Good job, Dan.
Now I'm going to go 260.
You nailed it.
259.
Got it.
260. Oh, that's what.
He did get suspended for 80 games in 2018. How much did he lose by being suspended?
$18 million.
12 mil.
I was going to go 12.
Nailed it.
All right. Number one golfer in the world, John Rahm's going to join us coming up. Final hour in the program. Seton, Paulie, Fritzy, McLovin, yours truly. If you'd like to be involved, you can. You can tweet us. You can dial us up. Final hour coming up. Welcome back to the Pizza Slam, the first and last time we'll do this. Once again, there's no losers here. These are all some of the best pizza that you'll find in the country. The winner of the first and last Pizza Slam is...
Which number? Which letter?
Pizza C.
Wow.
C.
Can anyone guess which company Pizza C is made by?
Well, let me just, do we want to give out who the other ones are that didn't win?
That's a good idea.
A great pizza.
Then there's truly no losers if you just give out
Okay,
the one.
I need to know who C is, because I don't know.
What if we had no idea?
Does anyone else here know?
Can we guess? Should we guess which one we think?
Nobody kept track. Nobody
We'll be able to. You can recognize it.
Well, I haven't looked yet.
Huh?
I haven't looked yet.
Haven't looked at what?
In the box.
I haven't looked in the box.
Oh, yeah.
Is that C?
That to me looked like C.
I'll bet you Sally's won the contest.
Did you know? We still don't know.
I don't know. I didn't do the pizza.
I know whoever bought the pizzas, I hopefully kept track of what box they
I just did the contest, Todd. The winner of the contest we have figured out because Tyler, the creator, put a letter underneath.
Very smart.
And it's the letter C.
Well done.
Which is Sally's a Pizza.
Yes, Alice.
We also want to give recognition to Pepe's. Pepe's loves the Dan Patrick Show. They wrote that on the box.
Very
awesome.
kind.
Trying to curry some faith here. Zapardi's. And this is modern pizza.
Moderna.
Or as McClellan calls it, Moderna.
Pizza/vaccine.
These are all
good stuff.
These are four of the best pizzas you'll find in the country. So our thanks to these great pizzerias for making these for us. It'll be the first and last time we do this. Guess what time it is? Is this the day Weeks gets fired? All right, Weeks. My game is not... Oh. Once again, if I get a hole-in-one, Weeks, our cameraman, gets fired. And I really don't want him to get fired because that means Tyler, the moderator, would then assume the position of cameraman. Actually, I'd probably just go without if that was the case. Yeah, you're good today, Weeks. See what happens when you're trying to be too cute here? You just got to get up there and... Yeah. John Rahm said to join us. Maybe I could get Rahm to take part in this contest when he goes back on tour his next event. If he gets a hole-in-one, then Weeks gets fired. Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
He's the popular Peter King. Who has the power to say to Dan Snyder, you must stop?
They don't. Dan Snyder's got to go. Period. There's no way he should be an NFL owner.
But how does that happen, though, Peter?
It's not going to happen. I'm saying, in my opinion, Dan Snyder's got to go. He has to go. That wasn't 2 or 3 instances of sexual harassment. That was 17.
Bringing you everything happening in the world of sports daily.
Dan Patrick.
In his release, the only word in that release that was used more than the word "the" was Redskins.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave.
It's time for him to go. He's got to go.
This is Dan Patrick.
Final hour on this Tuesday, Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. I was on the golf simulator there, and I usually play the par 3 7th at Pebble Beach. And people said, well, you're not really putting any stakes up. And I said, all right, if I make a hole-in-one, then I fire my cameraman. Weeks is his name. And so, we started a contest, that daily contest. If I make a hole-in-one, then I fire my cameraman. And I've come close. And then I was thinking, John Rahm just became the #1 golfer in the world. Maybe the next time he goes on tour and plays an event, if he goes to a par 3, gets a hole-in-one, then I fire Weeks. So maybe I could get John involved in this contest. And we'll talk to John Rahm, the #1 golfer in the world, who will join us here in a moment. All right. You can dial us up, 877-3DP-SHOW, email address dp@danpatrick.com, Twitter handle at DP-SHOW. McLovin, the poll question as we go into the final hour, and then we'll talk to John.
Will you miss the NFL preseason? 70% say no.
All right. More of your phone calls coming up. He had the win at Jack's Place, now the #1 golfer in the world at the ripe old age of 25. He's John Rahm, who joins us on the program. John, congratulations. Do you get anything for being the #1 golfer in the world?
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Big fan of the show, by the way. Do I get anything?
Yeah.
Well, it's mission accomplished. That's I think what you get. There's no trophy, no nothing for getting there. Just,
like a chain that has a big #1 on it. You don't get that with diamonds on it.
It's. I would be the first golfer to have a diamond chain, so maybe. But I think I would have to do it myself.
You could pass it on to the next guy. Let's say if you weren't the #1 player, then you just pass it around. Like there should be some kind of significance there of just being the #1 player. Business cards.
I think just the recognition of being there and seeing your name at the top of the ranking is enough for all of us. But I think you're onto something. I don't know if the chain is quite the thing we need, but I think you're onto something.
If I told you a decade ago you're going to be the #1 golfer in the world, what would you have said?
So when I was 15,
yeah.
Well, I don't know what I would have said, but I would have told you if not, I was going to try. I made that deal with myself at close to that age, 13, 14, that I was going to set myself to be the best player in the world. And that was about 10, 11 years ago. So it's amazing that it's paid off.
When did you know that you could be great?
I wouldn't say there's been one moment. I've always been very confident in my abilities, but there's been different stages throughout my career that just make me believe more and more that I had the chance to get there, right? When I was 15, I won the Spanish under-21 championship by 6 shots, and that was one of the points where, well, I'm a little bit ahead of my age, and a couple other things in Spain. Then I won the Eisenhower Trophy, the World Championship, breaking Jack Nicklaus's record, and I was like, whoa, this is now world level. I got to #1 amateur in the world, and then the last one was when I was an amateur in college, a junior in college. I finished 5th in the Phoenix Open, and that was the last straw for me to tell me, okay, you definitely have the talent. You just need to work very hard and believe that you can get there, and hopefully someday you do.
What impact did Tiger have on you growing up?
Big. I grew up in that Tiger era, right? So I saw him win everything and every event, and the fashion he did it in. So he was a huge influence, I believe, for not only me, but a generation close to my age. I mean, you have Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, me, Xander Schauffele. All of us are within a year apart, and even Bryson DeChambeau, and we're all playing really good golf nowadays. So I think he started something, and all these 90s kids are now playing really good golf. I think he influenced a lot of us. But in my case, I was a little bit more influenced by Sevi and what he did in Europe. And as a Spanish player, he's kind of my idol. So still try to take and pick things from everybody, obviously.
Most players your age talk about that first time they played with Tiger. What was that like?
Well, the first time I played with Tiger was the singles on Sunday at the Ryder Cup. So it's not going to get much bigger than that. And I truly couldn't enjoy it because it's not like it's an individual event and I'm focused on my own thing. It's a head-to-head matchup. I have to beat Tiger. Both of us were winningless at that point in the Ryder Cup. I think I was 0-2, he was 0-3, so we both really needed a win. And yeah, I wasn't playing my best golf. I couldn't quite enjoy watching Tiger play as much as I could, just because I truly just try not to look and think about Tiger Woods in front of me, right? I just had to win my match. But when I won on 17, making birdie on 17, it's up there, one of the best moments of my life.
Explain to me this Bryson DeChambeau thing, that you just swing as hard as you possibly can, John. Now, is that going to catch on? I saw where Tony Finau said, hey, I just thought, why not try to swing harder here?
Well, I spent quite a bit of time with Tony, and he's got that speed. I just don't think he thinks he could have it under control, but I think Bryson is showing him that you could. Now, I'm going to say I think a lot of us swing as hard as we can. We just don't have that type of speed. But I think he's onto something, right? I mean, if you can have the advantage to hit it farther than anybody else and still be accurate, obviously you're going to do it, right? I mean, if as a running back, you can run faster than anybody else, you're not going to hold back. You're just going to go, right? So if in any other sport you can get a leg up on the competition, you're going to do it. And it's very similar to Tiger when he came out in 97. He was hitting in miles past everybody and dominated the game of golf. It's tough to do it nowadays, but he's been playing really, really good golf. I know he didn't play his best last week, but he's arguably the best player post COVID. So it's impressive.
Yeah, but he's hitting at 430 and 40 yards, John.
Yeah, downhill, downwind.
Well, but nobody else is hitting it 440 yards downhill, downwind.
That is true. Yeah, he. I mean, when he won, he averaged 350 yards, which is unheard of. But
crazy.
Again, golf is just more than hitting it far, and I think this past week, Jack proved it. Right, you can make golf courses so difficult or set it up in a way where it neutralizes distance. It's as simple as that. I think some of the tournaments he played before, they weren't as penalizing if you missed it off the tee, and he could take advantage of those things. Not at Jack's place and not last week, and most likely not in major championship golf. But who knows? I mean, he's onto something, and what he's done is impressive. He's been working on this for 8-9 months. People have only heard about it through the pandemic, and he's been working at it hard. And to have it under control like he does, it's really impressive. It's truly a feat of athleticism and technique that not many of us thought was possible, but he's taking the game of golf to a next level. Now, I do believe maybe at some point the government bodies in golf might do some changes to the equipment just so we don't see people just hitting it 400 yards and flipping wedges onto the green.
I think they're going to change the ball, though, John. I could see where Augusta goes. If you're playing the Masters, you're going to play a golf ball that is, by our standards, you want to put Nike or you want to put TaylorMade or whatever you want to put on it, Callaway on there, because you run out of real estate. And I would hate to see Augusta, tighten the fairways, make it a premium of putting it in play there, but still make it a shot maker's course there. What do you think?
I'm surprised they haven't done that already. I'm not going to lie. Jack has been talking about it for a while. I think Tiger's mentioned it as well. And when you have the two greatest legends in this game mention it, I'm surprised. I'm sure they've listened. And I believe if Bryson comes in this November and overpowers the golf course, they'll definitely take measures. I also believe, the last few years, the greens at Augusta could have been a little bit firmer. In the mid-2000s, they played really, really firm, and the winning score was never low. So they might go on that route again. Who knows what they can do? I mean, they're the only golf course that actually have control over how it's played. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the future holds. All I know is even if they dial back the drivers and the golf balls, Bryson still has that speed. So if he can somehow manage to keep it under control, he's still going to have that advantage. So who knows what's going to happen.
He's the number one golfer in the world. He's John Rahm joining us on the program. We were going around the room before the show started of how many hole-in-ones you've had in your career. Now, this is practice in tournaments here. Fritzy, how many do you have for John?
How many tournaments he's won?
Hole-in-ones.
Oh, hole-in-one. I'm going to say he has 2 hole-in-ones.
2 holes-in-one. McLevin?
9.
All right. Seton?
12.
Paulie?
7.
I'm going to do 6. John
First
Rahm.
guess was the closest.
The first guess is 2?
Is the closest. I've had 3.
3 hole-in-ones.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Fritzy wasn't even listening to the question. Well done there, Todd.
I just missed it
well,
by 1.
well done. Favorite sport other than in the United States? So I know you love your soccer, but favorite sport other than golf and soccer?
Ooh, I love watching any playoffs, but recently I've got on the fight game. I do really love the UFC.
Really? How would you do if I put you in the octagon with Bryson DeChambeau?
With Bryson?
Yeah.
I don't know. He'd probably figure out a scientific way to knock me out pretty quick.
Okay, how about Koepka?
I'm not a fighter. I don't know. I don't know. I really have no idea how any of us would measure. I think I can't tell you. I might have a chance with anybody out there, but I have no idea.
When's the last time you were in a fight?
Last time I was in a fight?
Yeah.
God. Like fist fight?
Yeah.
Oh, must have been. I got to think of the grades in Spanish now. I mean, for sure, before high school, I would say maybe elementary school. That might be the last time.
How did it work out?
I don't remember. I don't think it was a very long fight.
When did you start learning English? When you were living in Spain? Is it taught in school?
Yeah. It's taught in school from 1st to 12th grade, but the English education system in Spain is not the best, I would say. Pretty much, I think, starting on 5th or 6th grade, every single year you go to the first day of class and it's the exact same thing.
Oh.
Present simple. Next year, present simple. Next year, present simple. So I had to go to extracurricular English classes, like an English academy, to get a little bit better. And even that wasn't enough to prepare me for the US. So I've been obviously trying to get better in English, knowing that it's important for golf for quite a while.
But did you learn English by listening to music?
I didn't learn grammar listening to music, but I learned, and I'm assuming you're referring to hip hop, I learned how to pronounce words and process things a little bit faster, right? Being able to memorize all these fast words, it just helped me out a lot to be able to continue my train of thought and be able to pronounce and keep up with the conversation.
So Eminem played a little bit of a role in you.
A little bit. Eminem and Kendrick Lamar is the two I probably listen to most.
That's good. Hey, congrats there, John, and well done. Certainly with the way it ended there. When you were interviewed after that final round and you learned that they were going to probably have a 2-stroke penalty on you, like your reaction just to see it, where you're like, what? Like nobody told you in the moment that they're... And shouldn't they rule in the moment, though, John? If they see something happen, then they rule it there? Because you could have played the rest of those holes differently if it was a little bit closer due to that 2-stroke penalty.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Had they known they were going to give me a 2-stroke penalty, they should have notified me and Ryan as soon as they knew they were going to do it. Because when I came into scoring, there's no argument I can make to get rid of it, right? It's too late. It doesn't matter whether you give it to me or not. The outcome is done. So I think for the benefit of golf, they could have just told us earlier, just so I already have it. And I think it would have been a 2-stroke lead going to the last 2 holes. I think it would have played a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think you could tell Ryan was a little deflated after that chip in and forced us to make up in 2 holes, right? So it's difficult in the rules of golf because it also says, the penalty should be visible to the naked eye, not with an HD camera. There's been situations in golf like that before in the past, and it's complicated. But after seeing the video, yeah, it is a penalty. So I wish they would have addressed it a little bit different. And even so, if if they're going to decide to tell me after the round, maybe not have it be in a live interview on national TV. Especially after I just talked about how hard my family went through, how hard of a time my family went through and all these things. And then they told me, well, go sign your card. You're getting a 2-stroke penalty. Bye. It's maybe have the rules tell me before I do my interviews so I can go in with a clearer mind instead of just getting shocked at the moment, right? But again, they're going to do what they think is best. It's an uncomfortable, awkward situation to go through.
Yeah, that was it. It was painful to watch because you're finding that out in real time. And then you mentioned that you've lost some people in your family due to complications with COVID. I mean, it was a powerful interview. And it was live. So we're seeing, usually when you get together with a press conference, you got time to collect yourself. That was right off the course. You just say goodbye to Jack Nicklaus. You're walking over and boom. And that was a real moment. That's tough to watch.
It is what it is, though. It's the rules for golf are very clear. And it's what it is.
Yeah, but even talking about your family, though, and how important that was. I mean, that's raw emotion there, too, that you lost 2 people in your life close to you. And,
True. And for people listening, they didn't die because of COVID, but they were both older and being basically quarantined, closed down in nursing homes, not being able to see anybody, barely able to talk on the phone. It's taxing mentally. It takes a toll on you mentally. And, it makes me glad to know that my grandma, so my mom's mom, the one that spent the most amount of me besides my parents growing up and taught me so many things. I have so many good memories with her. Was able to see me and my wife get married in Spain. She was also able to see her first great grandchild be born because my brother had his first daughter 3-4 weeks ago. So at the same time, we have a lot of things to be happy about. So, but still, it shows that the virus is affecting all of us, I think, in more than just one way. It can affect you more than just physically, right? The situation is tough for a lot of people struggling. So just be mindful that whatever I accomplished the other day, winning a tournament, being number 1 in the world, is secondary to all of those things. And that's the point I was trying to make across. So yeah, I put my heart out, and to get the news of the penalty was maybe not the best timing, but still, with penalty, no penalty, I still mean every word I said, and my family is still the most important thing to me. So again, like I said, at that point, a penalty is secondary.
Well said, John. And congratulations. Hope to have you back. And thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
That's John Rahm, new number 1 player in the world. We'll take a break here. We'll come back. It's 18 after the hour. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Simply Safe Home Security says it all right there in the name. Got everything you need. Protect your home. None of the drawbacks of traditional home security. When people say, when you talk about these sponsors, do you really love these sponsors? And Simply Safe's been with us for, I think, a decade. And when they came in and said, this is what we do, and I said, well, what kind of contract? And there's no contract. Well, what's it cost? It starts about $15 a month. I said, wait, no contracts, $15 a month. I install it? Yeah, 24/7. U.S. News and World Report named it the best overall home security of 2020. You want anything specially designed for home security, they have that for you. Professional monitoring keeps watch day and night, ready to send the police, fire, medical professionals just in case there's an emergency. It's great. Can't say enough about Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedan.com. You get free shipping, 60-day risk-free trial. So there's nothing to lose except for everything you have in your home. That's simplysafedan.com. So, all right, so 15 seconds there. Now, is Randy allowed to be up-tempo here a little bit?
I think 3/4 speed.
3/4 speed.
Okay.
You want
You need to take off any. He's taking off his rings. Now he's taking off the watch.
Dan,
Do
you need a white towel to throw That's what's
in?
going to hurt somebody.
Yes, it is.
Do we have a white towel Dan can throw in?
Here, I have a white towel. I have a white T-shirt here, Randy.
Throw the damn towel.
My nickname is the Plaid Warrior.
The Plaid Warrior.
Okay, against the natural.
It's Randy the Natural against the Argyle Warrior.
Natural Couture. You ready?
You ready?
Not at all.
Set.
Not at all.
Go.
He's just going to run.
That's 5 seconds.
Oh, my neck.
10 seconds.
Oh, my neck.
3,
Throw the towel,
2, 1. That's 15.
Paul, you survived.
Attaboy, Paul!
Yeah.
Yeah.
You owned Randy Couture.
I don't think he's sweating or breathing heavy, though.
I don't think at any point he was worried.
That's the most polite MMA match in history.
He sort of laid you down gently.
He was smiling the whole time, too.
In all seriousness, he had his arm against my neck. And if your neck doesn't move and head can't move, nothing really else could move. I was frozen.
You go where your head goes, absolutely.
I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Man, but you lasted 15 seconds with him.
Those are pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Great day.
Great job. Attaboy, kid.
Nice job. Nice job.
I try to summer it up today. It's a little bit, it's summer. It's about
I'm here.
98 outside. So try to summer it up. I'm wearing a little bit of a tank top underneath. So you guys have a lot of reaction to the pizza segment that we did, Pizza Slam. I didn't really eat much because, again, watching my figure, summer, carbs, all that. So the first one was from Hal Bundy on Twitter. He goes, any sympathy I had from Todd when he gets picked on just ended after watching the pizza confusion.
Why don't you take off the jacket? Let's see.
No.
Let's see what. Let's see what the tank
No,
top looks like. We're trying to get some female
audience.
Yeah.
You think that I'm the attraction?
I might have to flex a little
Well, you might have to show the guns. I mean, Todd knows.
I'm not
that.
shy about it.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt
No,
because
you're
you always complain I take your time. So go.
Next one is from Kyle Ryan. I hate being mean to Fritzy, but how does he not understand this concept of 5 people eating 4 pizzas and rating them? I feel like DP was just explaining it to a child. Sorry, Fritzy. But Fritzy, not all bad. Not all bad. As Mr. McCann said, Fritzy is an American treasure.
That's
so
nice
not all bad things, Todd.
For the most part bad. And rightfully so.
And then we got my guy, Jeff in Detroit, probably the only person I like in chat row. He goes, Paul's my spirit animal. Dude always finds an angle on good food. Paul does know good food. You're right. And then the final one is from another chat rower. Unfortunately, I have to get in here with the chat row. Thoughts on cold pizza? I like cold pizza. Again, watching my carbs. It's summer, so I don't eat much of it. But I'll see you guys next time.
We just finished up our pizza contest here. Trying to explain the contest to Fritzy.
I feel a little embarrassed.
I know.
But more than a little embarrassed.
But you didn't understand the concept of we had 4 different pizzas, right? And there were 5 of us. So I said there'll be a pizza here, and then everybody takes a slice. So you're going to get 5 different people with 4 pizzas.
Yeah, I guess initially I saw like 4 plates, and then I was obsessing about the 4 plates. I think there's 5 of us. Why is there only 4 plates? But looking back on it, I think as I always do, I over thought and I needed some clarification there. But I didn't realize that each of the different slices were going to be on each of the 4 plates. I don't know what. I'm still, I think, still struggling with it a little.
Yeah, I know you are. I know. And I said, Todd, How did you graduate?
I don't know.
Second in a class of 600.
You memorize a bunch of stuff and spit out the answers and write long essays and papers, and the teachers love that stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that. And the pizzeria that ended up winning was Sally's?
Sally's of New Haven.
Sally's of New Haven.
There's a bunch of them in a 8-block radius, basically.
You can't go wrong. So it could have gone either way with a few of those. But Sally's is your overall winner, the pizza contest. Yes, Paul.
And when I lived in New York City a zillion years ago, I lived on Spring Street in Nolita, north of Little Italy. And there's a place called Lombardi's Pizza. It's pretty legendary-ish in New York. And I lived on the 4th floor above a full-time pizzeria. And my apartment smelled like bread and garlic all the time, which is a good thing.
I was going to say.
It's a great thing.
There's nothing better than walking into a kitchen and smelling garlic.
Yeah. It was basically the entire building smelled like bread and garlic.
Paulie just sent me a video of, this is from Chris Mannix. He snuck this video out of the bubble, and they've dressed up the court. A lot of signage and some special effects in there. You don't see empty seats. You would think that you're in an arena. You don't see the fans, but it's dark behind the baskets, and yeah, that looks very presentable. And I was told by a TV exec who's involved in this, who wouldn't give me all the details, but said, they're going to have fun with graphics here and maybe some sound, but that looks good. It doesn't look like it's an open gym where, summer camps, and they've had time to think about this. I think they've done a really good job. So my thanks to Chris Mannix, who sent that to us. That looks good. Looks presentable. I guess Mannix is out of quarantine. There are people on the court. Thank God he got out of quarantine. That was good. It was fun to talk to John Rahm. He's obviously a very talented player. And, when you think of golfers from Spain, you think of Seve. But John Rahm is, that group there, that you have these guys who are 24, 25, 26, and if they continue to sort of move along in their careers with Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas and Rory and John Rahm and Xander Schauffele, you got a nice little future there. You just want to have, like Bryson DeChambeau is good for the tour because he's different. And, he has a problem, with the cameraman watching him if he screws up, and his caddy, gets in front of the cameraman, puts his hand up. He's recognizable by the size, the hat that he wears, the drives that he hits, and he's kind of a rocket science when it comes to the golf swing here. You need to have that guy that you say, I'm tuning in, either I'm rooting for him or rooting against him. You need rivalries like that. Because for the most part, these guys are all friends. They live in the same area. A lot of them live in Jupiter, Florida. You want to have that friction there. Something that you go, okay. Because I tuned in. I wanted to see if, Tiger got to play with Bryson DeChambeau. Koepka's not afraid to kind of tweak people. That's what you need. A little bit of tension that's out there. Other than they all get along with one another. All right. Let me see. Anything else that we did not mention here?
One thing about Rahm that stood out is you asked him a question. If I told you 10 years ago you'd be number one golfer in the world, and he casually said, well, it was 2 years earlier than that. I was actually 13 when I said, that's what I want to do. He was very nonchalant about it. It wasn't cocky, but it's like guys who become, or men and women who become number one in the world at whatever their sport is. That was kind of what they were thinking about. It doesn't, they don't luck into it.
Yeah, when he started to do the math of, 10 years ago, so I was 15. No, it was actually when I was like 12 or 13. And then you realize, but Tiger was programmed, who knows at what age, that he was going to be the best player in the world. And he did, he hurt his back in the second round, almost missed the cut, and then he came back, and he was respectable over the weekend. But that's a course that is as tough as any course they'll play this year. And then CBS had Jack Nicklaus on, and he was saying what he was going to do to the holes for the next year. He was already going to make changes. Like, that bunker doesn't work anymore. They're hitting it past it. Maybe I put a creek in here and, just the risk and the reward with that. But that's what you have to do. It's not lengthening the golf course because that just takes away another third of the field. It's making it difficult to make shots. Because these guys now, with the golf ball and these clubs, that's why Bryson DeChambeau is swinging as hard as he can. Forgiveness, and what's the real penalty here? Unless you penalize them dearly, then they're going to continue to do it. Phil Mickelson was trying to do this years ago. And I remember asking him, I said, why wouldn't you put it in the fairway? And he goes, I'd rather have an 8-iron in my hands and you have a 6-iron in your hands. And even if you're in the fairway, I feel like I have an advantage. Like, that's his thought process. And Tiger did the same thing. Tiger was taking down golf courses because they were lengthening them instead of tightening them. Chris Jones said Patrick Mahomes told him that he left money on the table so he could get signed. Tom Brady, although I don't know if Brady ever told a teammate, hey, I'm going to leave some money on the table for you, because Chris Jones on Monday talked about the 4-year, $85 million extension. And if you start to look at the core group, and the Chiefs are talking about a dynasty, and you could look at this two different ways. Like, easy here, guys. You just won one. My thought is, why wouldn't you think bigger picture, long term? If I have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce locked up, Chris Jones is locked up, Patrick Mahomes is locked up, I'm sure they've got a couple other players that are locked up, at least for till 2021 or 2022. What is a dynasty now? If they would win 3 out of 4 years, that's a dynasty in today's NFL, in today's sports. But why not think big picture? And I have no problem with any of those players thinking that. Patrick Mahomes, he wants to be compared to the greats of all time. You don't want to be the best player in the sport at age 23 with a 10-year, $500 million deal and only have one Super Bowl to show for it. Because we look back at Brett Favre, we'll look back on Aaron Rodgers, and you'll go, they got 2 Super Bowls out of a span of 30 years, and that's all they got, maybe more than that. And they got 2 Super Bowls having 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. And people would look at that as a disappointment. Kansas City, and look, is Kansas City, would you pencil them in? Are they better than Baltimore going into this season? I have no idea. I think Baltimore did really well in the draft, but I like what Kansas City did at the running back position. I'd probably favor Baltimore over Kansas City. And I don't know if there's an NFC component here where you go, boy, that team is going to provide. And it's all about matchups there. I mean, that's what happened with Tennessee. Tennessee was a matchup nightmare for teams. Kansas City normally is that, but so is Baltimore. Yeah, McLevin.
I mean, most of the great quarterbacks have really only won 1 or so. Peyton won 2, but does the second one really count? I mean, he didn't do anything for that. And Breeze won 1.
Yeah,
LA won 2, but he was late in his career. Marino didn't win.
Yeah. But I think if you're going to be the greatest of all time, then we look at, do you have multiple Super Bowls? If I said Patrick Mahomes doesn't win another Super Bowl, we're going to look at that as a disappointment. We just are. I mean, Breeze, we didn't know how great Breeze was. Let's face it. When he was with the Chargers, he failed his physical with the Dolphins. Then he ends up with the Saints. You're not quite sure what you have. And then you realize what you have. And yes, should he have another? Probably. And Saints fans will make the argument they should have at least gotten to the Super Bowl another time. I think that's it. You want Super Bowl appearances. How many times are you getting there? I mean, Russell Wilson is an inch away from having 2 Super Bowls. And he would have had 2 before the age of 28. I don't know. I don't think Russell Wilson wins another Super Bowl because that was the perfect storm. His rookie deal, and you were able to keep that entire Legion of Boom together. And that's the magic with this. Kansas City was able to do that with Patrick Mahomes. Now he gets paid. Dak Prescott, now he gets paid. Carson Wentz, now he gets paid. That's where Cleveland looks at this and goes, we've got to get this done in either this year or next year. because then you're going to either get rid of Baker Mayfield or you sign him to a big extension there. That's the issue. All of these young quarterbacks, you're now on the clock in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow for the next couple of years. Arizona with Kyler Murray. Daniel Jones with the Giants. You go down the list here. That's why when the Dolphins take Tua, once he starts, now all of a sudden you're on the clock for the next 4 years to try to win a championship. Justin Herbert with the Chargers. When does he get a chance to play? Then you're on the clock. The Rams were already on the clock with Jared Goff, and now he got paid. That's what the NFL is. Yeah, Paul.
And if you look at the Hall of Fame, Russell Wilson's going to the Hall of Fame no matter what he really does the rest of his career, mostly because, he's consistent. They made the playoffs every year but one. But imagine if Russell Wilson had 0 and Matt Ryan had 1. Matt Ryan's going to the Hall of Fame. It wouldn't even be much of a discussion if he had the 1.
Well, I think he's going to the Hall of Fame anyway.
Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
But you would never even pursue the discussion if he had that 1 ring over the Patriots.
No.
It'd be automatic stamp.
Yeah, because he was a league MVP. Now, I don't know if Cam Newton is a Hall of Famer because he was an MVP and he went to the Super Bowl, but they got blown out. If he won the Super Bowl with his stats, Cam Newton's probably a Hall of Famer. I mean, rushing touchdowns alone, he's going to have more than, some marquee running backs. Yeah, McLevin.
He's only 31. I mean, he's got a lot of.
Yeah, no.
Feels like he has a lot of. He could get to the Hall of Fame.
Well, maybe he has a career that's similar to Kurt Warner's, where you start out great, then he disappeared, and then you come back and have this resurgence there. Because that's, Kurt was with the Giants. He was there before Eli. In fact, they kicked him to the curb for Eli, even though he was probably a better quarterback at the time. And then he goes to Arizona. And the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame is because what he did in Arizona, taking that team to the Super Bowl. And within a couple of seconds of winning another Super Bowl. Winning a Super Bowl for Arizona. Yeah, McLevin.
What if I had told you 2 years in that Dan Marino would never win a Super Bowl?
I would have been shocked.
So maybe Mahomes is Dan Marino.
That would be like, Patrick Mahomes, you said he's not going to get back to the Super Bowl again. I'd be shocked. But Marino, those teams, you had Marino and Duper and Clayton and Nat Moore, they threw the deep ball. I just don't know if they had great defenses, the killer bees. Yeah, Paul.
I got to check my math here. I don't think Dan Marino ever appeared in an AFC title game after '84 when he went to the Super Bowl. I got to double check that, but he never had more than one playoff victory in a playoffs. He was always 1-1, 1-1, 1-1.
Only 20 quarterbacks all time have multiple Super Bowl starts. So just starts. Getting there and coming back is obviously very difficult. It's just, we look at the Patriots and what Brady has done is such an aberration. Montana got there 4 times and would have gotten there more if he had stayed. They didn't trade him to Kansas City. Yeah, McLevin.
What if Nick Foles takes the Bears to the promised land?
He's not going to the Super Bowl. Or he's not going to the Hall of Fame. And he's not going to the Super Bowl either.
Is he starting, by the way? That was a big headline. Will with no preseason, can Nick Foles get that job?
I would start him because I want to take some pressure off Mitchell Trubisky. I just want him to watch a professional. Just let me watch Foles and how he plays, how he handles himself, and maybe I can learn something that'll help me. But, the Bears have already moved on from him, basically. If you bring in Foles and you're not going to pick up his 5th-year option. So I think it might help him for the next contract. And maybe, and you see this with these quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, Mitchell Trubisky, they may be Ryan Tannehill. They may be that guy who loses his job, goes and is a backup somewhere, and then eventually gets to start again. Yeah, McLean.
NFL Network showed the Jaguars playoff run yesterday. Remember when they got to the
AFC title game?
I would not have believed watching that Blake Bortles that he was going to be out of the league. I don't think he's back on the Rams.
He's the backup on the Rams, though,
I think he's gone.
Is he out of football?
I think he's a free agent right now. I'll double check, but I don't think anyone signed him yet. I think he's waiting until camp. But how would we have known that team wasn't going to do anything? They were as young as they had all-stars at every position.
Yeah. They had a pretty good formula. You had a good defense. And didn't Bortles lead the AFC in touchdown passes? Didn't he throw like 33 touchdowns? I don't know if he threw 33 touchdowns combined after that, did he? Yeah, Paul.
I checked my math. Dan Marino did appear in the 92-93 season AFC title game. They lost to the Bills 29-10, and Marino had 2 picks.
All right, we'll take a break. Last call for phone calls, what we learned, what's in store tomorrow. We'll close up shop after this here on The Dan Patrick Show. Speaking of wardrobe malfunctions, the great Johnny Bench, Hall of Fame catcher, called in to tell Fritzy he had a wardrobe malfunction story, and Johnny joins us. Hi, Johnny. What do you have for me?
Good morning, Dan. Well, sometimes the game, you have practices, you do stuff, you have rain delays and everything else, you have picture taking, and we were doing all of this, and so I decided, okay, fine, I'll do all that. And I get, I've already dressed, so I just run out on the field and put on my gear. I go down, I squat behind home plate, and I forgot my cup. That is, when you start to give a sign, you notice right away that there's something missing down there. I ran over to the dugout and said, somebody get my cup. But if you'd have watched, I wish we'd have tape of that game. I was catching sideways. I actually had my knees.
You had your legs closed?
Oh, no, I had them closed and pointed towards first base. And the umpire said, I really need to do this. He said, let's go. We've got to play.
How many times do you think you took a direct shot to your cup in a season?
I broke 7 cups.
Oh, wow.
And then, that doesn't count for the one and that bounces down and, comes up. And those are the ones that are most deadly. But I try to tell young kids, and since we're here, we might as well give them that information because you always wear a cup jock. And I always say you should wear another smaller jock, a plain jock, over the top of it to make sure that you're totally secure.
You can't get this. You can't get this breakdown anywhere else than right here. Now, what's interesting about Johnny Bench is he wears a cup even when he's out socially, and I think that's amazing.
No question. There's always those guys. Still, those guys that want to be. They're all in the fantasy camp right now. And the first thing they want to do is they want to cup check. And they walk, boy, that'll run a good cocktail party. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with that. But, when the guys, maybe sometimes when the Danettes are back there and you've got a free throw being shot, you do a cup check. It's amazing how much you can throw a guy off.
I appreciate that. Johnny, thanks for calling in.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks.
All right. There you go. From the great Johnny Bench, how to wear a cup. I've only been out with one person before who had a cup on.
You mean out socially?
Socially. And it's because he knew that there were guys in the group that would give you a cup check. And so, it was always Sean Salisbury who would say, oh, God. And it would be always somebody unsuspecting, and it was Laker GM. And then, of course, the person would blurt out, Mitch cup check, and then he would give you a cup check. So we're in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Which is a hotbed of cup checks.
We're with the guy,
zero.
And his nickname is OD. And all of a sudden, we're out, and we're standing around, and we're talking, and Salisbury's going, what's the Laker GM? And OD goes, Mitch cup check. And he hits him, and Salisbury goes, damn, you got a cup on. And he goes, yeah, I do. He came prepared for a cup check. That's great scouting on his part right there, I'll tell you. Don't worry about it.
I felt bad about it.
No, you screwed up, but who cares?
You asked me a question, and it looked like I don't pay attention.
Well, I know,
to the
but
show.
there are times when you don't pay attention.
There are times, but it's rare. But in that moment, and that was a bad look.
Todd's scoreboard.
Okay, Ben in Kansas City, and I feel better about that. Ben in Kansas City, congratulations. All right, 99. You were already guessing earlier this morning.
Well, I said Gastineau, Gretzky.
I'm going to give it a clue. Let's
or
go,
Judge.
great one. So would that be? Who would be Let's Go?
That'd be
Great One?
Wayne.
On this date in 1996, Gretzky, number 99, signs a 2-year deal with the New York
Shoots, he
Rangers. 40. Ready? A mound
Had
of
one last night.
A mound of trouble, that dub. A mound of trouble, that dub. His nickname is Dub, which I was not aware of.
Dub.
Who's a mound of trouble?
I'm going to go.
And he turns 40 years old today. That's the number 40. But I'm not going to tell you. You have to guess who it is.
Dub.
His nickname is Dub, big man on the mound.
He wasn't a pitcher on the Mets.
On the Yankees with very baggy pants because he's a mound of trouble with the nickname of Dub, like 2 letters, like CC or something.
Chamberlain. Java Chamberlain.
On this date in 1980, CC Sabathia was born. 40 years old today. Happy birthday,
He
CC
slimmed down.
Sabathia. He's still a big guy.
He slimmed down.
So Gretzky and CC Sabathia, 99 and 40. Ben in Kansas City, congratulations. You win some great Dan
Snoreboard!
Patrick Show merchandise. And now we go back to the last segment of this fine program. Booyah.
The popular Portland guard Damian Lillard on the program tomorrow. Getting closer to hearing the words, play baseball. Play ball. I'm excited about it. Dodgers, Giants Thursday night. Yankees against the Nationals. That's coming up Thursday night. I'm ready to go. I don't care if there's fans in the stands, cardboard cutouts. It doesn't matter to me. Let's just get some baseball out there. This day in sports history, Paulie, what do you have for me?
And it's a little slow on this day in sports history. Let me check it because it's a little slow, but I have a this day in movie history.
Okay.
This day in movie history, Midnight Run was released 32 years ago today with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. Very popular movie with the bros.
Sneaky, great buddy movie.
I have some backstory on that. It was originally at Paramount, and they did not want Robert De Niro, nor did they want Charles Grodin. The director did. De Niro had been trying to do a comedy. He really wanted to do a comedy after being a tough guy for so long. He lost out to Tom Hanks for Big. De Niro wanted to do Big.
No, he couldn't have done Big.
I know. He wanted to.
Yeah.
So he told his agent, get me a comedy. And they searched out a comedy, and he found this movie, Midnight Run. Charles Grodin, nobody at Paramount wanted Charles Grodin. They dumped the entire project. They wanted Robin Williams to play the Charles Grodin role. They wanted Cher to play the Charles Grodin role at one point. They dumped the movie over to Universal, and Universal said, we love De Niro and Grodin, and the movie got made.
It works. It does. It's good. Charles Grodin is wonderful in that movie, Midnight Run. What's the first buddy movie, like in modern times?
Butch and Sundance?
Buddy movie? Yeah.
48 Hours with Nick Nolte, Eddie Murphy.
That was a little bit later.
Cop turned buddy movie.
Yeah. Yes, Todd.
Can you call Stir Crazy a buddy movie with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder sharing a cell? That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, buddy movie. Trying to think what else comes. Yeah, McLovin.
Yeah, I'm trying to. You mean like classic, like guys who start off as enemies and become buddies? Or
No, I like road trips maybe.
I like Paulie's Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. That's kind of the ultimate good-looking buddy movie.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think.
That's tomorrow's poll. Handsomer, cooler guy, Paul Newman or Robert
Didn't
Redford?
we have that before?
Yeah.
And
Newman, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we love Redford, but
yeah, I mean, but Paul Newman, there was a little bit. It felt like there was a little bit more to his character.
But the 60s and 70s, Redford's hair was unimpeachable.
Oh yeah, one of the greats of all time. Rob in Florida joins us on the program. Hi, Rob. What do you have for me? Hey, Rob.
2.5 billion.
Okay. I think we got a bad connection there, Rob. Try again. Got a couple of minutes here, and maybe Marvin can squeeze you in. I saw Bob Nightingale, who covers baseball for USA Today. He has, He's got the Dodgers winning the World Series, and he has the Dodgers beating the Oakland Athletics.
The A's in the World Series.
Yes, thank you, Todd.
Welcome.
And he's got his AL MVP as Matt Chapman of the Athletics. Mookie Betts for the National League. But he's got the A's against the Dodgers in the World Series. Okay. Are you rooting for the Astros to make it to the World Series just because of the storylines it's going to bring about? Yeah, Paul.
Didn't the Astros get the biggest hall pass of all this? They don't have to play before a road crowd until next March, April.
I know, but I'm curious what happens when they're visiting somebody and do these pitchers throw at the hitters?
Yeah, they should. Couple.
But I'm wondering if that happens here. Yes, Todd.
And does it really prove anything? Because it's like us against the world. If they went 47-13 and won the World Series, that doesn't change anything at all that happened before.
No, it makes you go, why did you cheat in the first place? They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they don't do well, they're like, oh, okay, need a garbage can here. Or if they do well, be like, why'd you guys cheat in the first place? Mike in Florida joins us. Hey, Mike, what do you have for me? Marvin, what is going on here?
I didn't tell him to say that, or I didn't know that.
Marvin just came out and took a victory lap because he corrected Paulie on a Dan Marino stat.
Right.
And so Marvin, who's now caught up in being a TV star, can't even, hide your head in shame. Hide your face in shame. Yeah. Now he's got his feet up. He's moved on from screening.
A lot of people throwing Tommy Boy around as a good buddy movie.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Yeah, David Spade. Spade always has good stories about Tommy Boy.
You remember Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes,
Steve
Martin, and John Candy. That's still funny. I'm trying to think. Oh, so people are emailing and tweeting in buddy movies?
Oh, yeah. Dumb and Dumber.
If that's on, I'm watching it. I don't care where it is in the movie. I'm watching it.
Sideways. The wine movie.
Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti.
I don't know if they're really buddies. Because Paul Giamatti, by the end, did not like his buddy at all.
Silence of the Lambs. Good buddy movie.
Niche.
Clarice and whatever.
Clarice.
Buddy serial killer movies of that genre.
Clarice. AJ in Nebraska. Hey, AJ.
Hey, Dan, 6 foot, 225. Rush Hour with Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
And Jackie Chan.
Yeah, that they certainly. It feels like that's all Chris Tucker has done is Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3, something like that. But thank you, AJ. I never got into that. Never got into that group of movies. I don't know why. Just like okay. But people do say Chris Tucker's great in that. Did you guys see Rush Hour?
I've seen the first one.
Seton?
I think so.
Oh,
probably a long time ago, though.
If you thought so, then you probably.
Well, based on the era that came out,
it's
very possible I did see it, but I'm fuzzy.
And didn't remember.
Chris Tucker in Friday, however, is iconic.
It is?
Yeah, for like a certain generation,
okay.
Friday. Yeah,
I didn't.
When we were teenagers, Friday was the movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I don't think I did.
Oh, you might want to check that out.
Yeah, Chris Tucker and Ice Cube.
I've seen clips of it.
Sure thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think Ice Cube told us about writing it. We had him on a bunch of years ago, and he just wrote it like on the side.
You should check that out.
Fridays. Okay. But I'm watching Desperados right now.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I don't know if I could pry myself away from that.
Yeah. Well, once you're done with that and Eviction or whatever the other one was.
Extraction. I'm done with that.
Extraction, that one. Yeah.
Todd, Eviction. Todd, what did you learn today?
You led right into it. Reason number 572, we need sports back. You recently watched Desperados and Extraction, started rereading the Da Vinci Code.
McLevin, what'd you learn?
Yeah. You also watched that Chris Hemsworth movie? Oh, yeah.
Extraction.
Oh, boy.
Seton?
Old Guard, too.
John Rahm rules.
What we learned brought to you by buyraycon.com/Patrick. Wireless earbuds, the way to go. Get 15% off your Raycon order at buyraycon.com/Patrick. Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again tomorrow. Damian Lillard will join us on the program. Talk to you then.